What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Terror Table, a horror movie podcast presented by the Saskatchewan Podcast Network. My name is Mitch, and I am one of your regular hosts that you hear every single week, and this episode, I am joined with my other co-hosts. Full gang's here. Kyle and Boozy are back. All three of us are at the table to talk about the Unfriended films. So we talk about the original Unfriended from 2014, and then Unfriended Dark Web. But before I let this episode roll, I just want to address some things that I've been meaning to talk about on the show for a bit. If you haven't noticed, we haven't released an episode in close to 4 weeks. The last episode we released was with Dean Cundy, which was absolutely surreal and unbelievable for all of us at the Terror Table here. It was so cool talking to someone who has had his hand in so many legendary films and has played a role in bringing some of the most memorable moments of our cinema upbringing to life. So that was incredible, and I really hope you guys enjoyed that. If you follow us on any social media platforms, you will have seen that we have been extremely busy over the last couple of weeks, and our show has kind of suffered a little bit because of it. But I just want everyone to know, and I want to put this idea to rest, that the Terror Table is not going anywhere. If anything, over the next few months here, while we go through some changes, the show might slow down a little bit, but the show itself, we have no intentions of stopping the show. And the reason I'm mentioning that is if you follow us on any social media platforms, you'll have seen that I am gearing up to create and shoot my very first short film with a bunch of my friends. I co-wrote a script called The Druid's Hand with my friend Jesse Sawitsky. He goes by Jambi. We talk about him all the time on the show here. He thought American Vandal was real, but whatever. And Tara Oliver Wyman, my sister, who's been on the show many, many times. She's our first AD on the film and has been such a huge, huge help in scheduling and bringing this whole project together. If you want to learn more about the project, just search up go to the Kickstarter page and search for The Druid's Hand, and there you'll find our pitch video, and you'll find our whole merch line that we designed or had designed by our friend Sebasterio, who did the Terror Table logo. He created some really awesome merch so that we can offer backers something in return, something substantial right away for contributing any of their funds. Because it was very important to us to not just seem like we're holding our hands out and asking for money. But we reached our initial goal of $9,000 within 30 hours of launching, and that was just absolutely surreal. Made no sense. We're still kind of wrapping our heads around it. It's just mind-blowing to know that we have so many supportive people behind us. And just by seeing people show up within the first 30 hours, they just proved that people believe in us, and they believe in me, and they believe in what we want to do. And we truly do think that we're going to create something really special for our province here and to represent the incredible talent that we have here that doesn't get to do this kind of stuff very often. If anything, our film industry, it's like nearly extinct in Saskatoon here. We have people who, do TV commercials or ads or corporate stuff, weddings, and the occasional music video, but it's very, very rare that people get the chance to work on a balls-to-the-wall horror short, which is what I promise. I promise this thing, we have written it in a way and planned that it's going to be insane. It's going to be a really crazy little short film that I'm already so proud of. So I can't wait to show you guys more. If you want to support us or learn more about the project, you can just go to Kickstarter.com, look up The Druid's Hand. There you'll find our campaign video, all of our merch, and the really cool perks that we've lined up for this thing. But yeah, I'm just going to stop now and just let the episode roll here. But I just wanted to thank everyone personally thank you for all the people listening right now who either shared the campaign page or contributed some of their own money or just told some people who might have been interested in this about it. Like, I can't thank you enough. It's really emotional for me to record this, so I'm going to shut the fuck up and let the episode roll, but there's going to be a lot more updates coming in the near future. We have 12 days left on the campaign, all of the money that we make from here to the end of the campaign actually helps so much, because that's going to allow us to boost the practical effects budget, boost the production value just in general, be able to maybe bring another couple of hands on set, and it's all shaping up to be something really, really amazing. And these things cost a lot of money, so it means a lot that people are willing to help us out. So yeah, follow The Druid's Hand on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Druid's Hand, and keep up to date with all the really fun and exciting things that we have planned for this. We're going to be offering tons of updates, and once again, thank you. And we're going to hear a word from this week's sponsors, and then we're going to let you guys hear our episode about the Unfriended films. Thanks so much for listening, and enjoy this week's episode of The Terror Table.
The Saskatchewan Podcast Network is supported by Connexus. Savings, checkings, GIC, budget, RESP, RRSP, TFSA, mutual funds, credit score, emergency funds, variable versus fixed rates, compound interest, retirement. The list goes on and on. It's time to make sense of it all. At Connexus Credit Union, they want to help. Financial literacy is a critical life skill, giving you the knowledge and confidence to make smart, responsible decisions about your money. Visit connexusmoneytalk.ca to find expert advice, tips, and solutions for all life stages and events, and increase your financial literacy knowledge and confidence today.
Hey everybody, this voice you are hearing is Mitch, and I am one of your regular hosts at The Terror Table. And this week, got a full table. Got a full Skype chat. Who's here?
I think my window's open, but it's glitching. Oh, it's Kyle. Boozy, are you there?
Yeah. Can I get like a large dog? And I just want you to also torture Mitch a little bit.
That's your request for the dark web?
That's my order. I was trying to change my voice by talking really slow.
Yeah, you lost me. I have no idea what you're talking about. But that's
weird because
I want a large dog, and I want you to torture Mitch.
Yeah. Huh. Well, this is the first episode that we're doing where it like fits the conversation to talk about Kyle's fetish of buying used underwear online.
Right.
Oh, this does make sense now. That's
a good point. So we can bring it up.
All the other times it almost came up, but now it makes sense.
We were kind of wanting to do like a double whammy because we're really big into tying into the main feature. So we figured your crippling addiction could be lassoed into a main feature somehow.
Plus,
and it just happened that it's not.
I have underwear, of course.
Yeah. Plus, I have seen you shit yourself on camera before.
Yeah.
Okay,
I can also corroborate that story for which there's no evidence, so Kyle can't say no.
The funniest part about it is I'm the one who shit myself. Remember the story where I projectile pooped when I went to Cal Tire?
That's right.
I told that during the Nightmare series. Go back and listen to our Nightmare on Elm Street retrospective series. I think that was like 4 or 5 episodes, but that was fun.
That was so much fun. I would love to do that again, and also bring back you talking about yourself shitting yourself.
Yeah. Well,
that whole series is just a fever dream to me now. I can't even really. I don't remember a single word I said during that series.
You're just still triggered from fucking Freddy's Revenge.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, probably.
And me and Boozy are on the right side of history, loving that film.
It's true.
Whatever.
Same with
you gotta pat yourself on the back all you want, Mitch. It's fine.
There were some good movies in there.
You liked the fifth one, Dream Child.
Yeah. I like what's the kid one? Yeah, Dream Child was great.
Dream Child that one fucks for sure.
And you did not like that one.
It's one of my least favorite, but the thing is, I kind of like that whole franchise, even the warts and all, aside from the remake. Like
I think that was like a lot of
one.
That was a lot of fun doing that. We should do that with another series, just so I can fill in all the blanks of these like movies I've never seen. But I mean, how many more series do we have that like?
I thought of a good one the other day. This is probably off the off the pod talk, but I think we have to do Final Destination at some point.
Yeah, I do. I've been kind of itching to want to do that franchise too, so I'm totally down.
I think that has to happen.
I think the only franchises we've done have been Jaws, which the episode's deleted. Alien episode's deleted. Mm-hmm. Then we have the Nightmare one. Oh, and then Halloween. Me and you did Halloween. Those are still up.
Yeah, Ginger Snaps. We did all the Ginger Snaps movies.
That's true.
That's 3.
Are we going to rewatch all the Halloween movies before Kills? let's start off with that. Like the Halloween Kills trailer came out. Let's do this a little old school. Let's kind of just let's lay back and have some fun at the terror table.
I'm tired of not having fun. Let's have fun.
Exactly.
It's the heat too. This heat's kind of getting to me. I'm a little I'm more wavy than normal.
The whole country's in a heat wave, right?
I think
the records
world is kind of.
Yeah, I know Vancouver has it the worst. I know, I feel bad for Jason and Nick.
We're slowly plunging into the sun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But so we've been in the middle of heat wave, trying to stay cool. But we are talking about the Unfriended movies today. This is huge. Not really, but I always like to say it's huge. but
this is massive.
Really, this isn't that big. Like
Dean Country was pretty big, but this,
we had Steve.
Yeah, fuck all that shit. We got Unfriended 1 and 2 on deck.
Well, the funniest part is this episode. I'm sorry, boys. Like I've been fucking up so bad because the film has taken up all of my time. And I have 2 episodes. I'm sitting on 2 episodes. I have one with me, Jesse, and Mitch, and then one with me, Boozy, and Seb talking about Pumpkinhead. This one's not going to be out for another 2 weeks, but maybe I'll double up 1 week so we can catch up because I miss
people would love that.
Yeah, I would.
That might be a good idea.
Also, like the 2 episodes that I've been sitting on for a month, I have reviews of Spiral and A Quiet Place 2, like the 2 newest.
Yeah.
So no one has even heard those, and they've been out for a month and a half by now. But yeah, no, like way back in the day, we used to talk about movie trailers. We would do Boozy's Newsies, where Kyle would forget the tagline every single week.
I never knew it, to be fair.
Let's do it for
Boozy, let's talk about news.
Let's do it for some old time sake. Boozy, can you hit us with the motherfucking newsies?
Yeah, welcome to news. So Kyle, tell us all about the Halloween Kills trailer. I'm assuming you watched all 3 minutes of it.
I saw the thumbnail on Twitter. Seemed interesting.
Right.
I'm just excited for, Jamie Lee Curtis. I feel like this is their chance. This is their time. I think it's Curtis hour. It's
all been downhill. All been downhill since Freaky Friday.
Honestly, it really has been.
Yeah, that new wet behind the ears actress, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
Hot on
up and comer.
Yeah.
Up and comer.
Honestly, shout out Activia. Shout out.
Dude, this is fucking hilarious. I really hope you at least have other movies than Unfriended to talk about. You haven't been on the show in 2 months. And you haven't even watched the Halloween Kills trailer. This is the event of the year.
That's not his thing.
But what is Kyle's thing besides used underwear on the internet?
Well,
let's run with that.
I want to say, though, like, Mitch, let's talk about Halloween Kills.
Share your thoughts first.
Okay, so did you know the trailer got leaked and that's why they had to throw it up early, or was that all just planned anyway? No,
I found that out from the tweet from Jason Blum, which I sent to you, and it's like I told you too. I was like, this is not a fucking drill. The trailer's going up in half an hour.
That is so wild. And it's especially because they pushed the movie back a whole fucking year because they didn't want to release it to us while we were all locked inside. So it's kind of wild that the trailer gets leaked and they just immediately like that. They must have a lot put into this. Do you know what I mean?
It was done a year ago. So I bet you they for sure recut the trailer though to get like, I know the main thing that I seem to be hearing from everyone, even you and I talked about it, and I got over it pretty quick, but even I had mentioned that it's like, yeah, they show a lot. But keep in mind that trailer is two minutes long. The movie is going to be close to 2 hours. But there's a bunch of trailers. What was the one recently?
I think this movie shows a lot more, instead of it being like up into the point of him killing somebody, so you can get that implication of did Michael do that? No, this trailer, you get a confirmed kill every 10 seconds in this.
So they've decided that Michael Myers is Jason Voorhees now, and I'm here for it. I've talked numerous times on the show about how I've kind of soured on 2018. I don't hate it. I don't love it though. It's not even in my probably 3 or 4 top 5 favorite sequels from the franchise. But it's not like it was terrible. But this one, like regardless, even if that one was a piece of shit, I will always be excited for a new Halloween, even if Rob Zombie's doing it. I will be excited for it. But
I don't
this
know
one,
if I go that far.
Yeah, I don't know. This one, I don't know. I'm in for it, man. It looks like they're swinging at the fences here, and they're throwing everything they have and making Michael just a brutal, brutal killer.
It's very interesting that they're adding to like the lore of him, even when they're talking about like him kind of killing makes him stronger. Basically.
Yeah, but that's the same David Gordon Green Blumhouse fucking bullshit. No, I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm gonna pop off here.
It's very interesting that they're adding that in the trailer directly, because it's like, what are you guys pushing our brains towards?
Yeah, well, it's because all those ideas I know we've talked about so many times at this point, but it makes a point in this conversation. Is the whole David Gordon Green and Danny McBride saying that, and Jason Blum saying they're not going to put a new Halloween movie out unless they have the perfect thing, and they're going to retcon all the sequels. And then in the movie comes out, it's the same fucking movie, all the little Easter eggs from every single sequel. They do not even Easter eggs; they replicate scenes from the sequels that they don't want to do. And then now they're like saying, because the whole pitch was they wanted to get rid of the whole subplot of Laurie being Michael's sister, like being related. So let's throw in this idea. This is like a Cult of Thorn thing, man. It's like the more he kills, the more powerful he becomes. But at the same time, I want to see Michael just go ballistic and destroy people. Like I don't care about the story of Halloween anymore. Like the 2018 one proved to me that I do not need to care about the story. I just want to go and see some cool kills.
I think at this point, yeah, any franchise would suffer from the convolution. And yeah, like we talked about when we did our series about this. I know they started over, and right away they led back right into convolution. Yeah. But I'm super sold on this. It looks great. I think they give Michael some extra. It is very basic of a wet dream of what we wanted from Michael, which, yes, we did get in Rob Zombie's Halloweens, but, obviously we don't like those movies. So I think this will be a lot more exciting version of Michael for us.
So I just watched the trailer here live on the show.
Did you have your headphones in? Were you not listening to us?
Oh, I listened. I just no audio on the trailer. I got enough, I think, from it.
God.
Yeah, you're like do. You're kind of playing the song in your head a little bit. Like
I'm kind of thinking, like, first off, shout out Judy Greer, huge fan.
Right. Have you not seen 2018 either? Because she's in that one.
I haven't seen 2018, but I gotta be honest. Like, I wasn't really sure. Like what you were saying, Boozy. Like you're saying, like, okay, well, they're packing some kind of heat because they waited on this. Like they didn't have to, right? So I was curious what your thoughts on the trailer were, and if you're like generally impressed, because you're kind of my Halloween gauge. Not that you're not Mitch, but Boozy, you're like a stan.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, be careful. You're gonna start an argument between us that we didn't even mean to get into.
Well, I feel like Mitch, you're more
tread
critical
lightly here.
Mitch is more critical of the Halloween series, where I think Boozy, you got
I gave Boozy the Halloween series.
But you seem to...
I agree that I think, Mitch, you are harder on it than I am.
You appreciate the things that I think Mitch would be critical of. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, because the first one, yeah, I definitely... But that's what's funny, though, too, is even...
Plus,
I love
2018, I'm not as hard on.
No, yeah, I don't know. I just like the franchise. Like, I like most of them. I think I don't like 5 and the Rob Zombie ones, and that's... Oh, and Resurrection.
Yes. Well, yeah, I was going to say, like, hold on.
Yeah, Resurrection, definitely.
Kyle, so you saw a lot of killing in there. Does that seem like a lot for a trailer about a man who's supposed to be like a shape, a shadow, a spooky?
This is a lot going on for a trailer, but like what you said, Mitch, like it's a feature. So I mean, whatever. What's that really supposed to mean from a trailer? But there is a lot going on here, so I hope this isn't all of the kills.
No. Plus, we got to keep in mind that the movie picks up right as the first ends off. So we've gotten all the exposition out of the way and all the, people, Michael and Laurie facing off again for the first time in 40 years, sorry.
50 years.
20 years.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I think, because was the last one, was that a soft reboot? What kind of reboot was that? Or is it like a sequel?
Sequel to the original.
Gotcha.
Allegedly.
I guess I would consider that to be kind of in its own way, like a not a rebooting, but it's a reshaping. Yeah, because they're adding 3 more, and they've always had the plan of adding 3 more to it. So I guess that would be like a
and that's been planned. Okay, you know what? Actually, just talking about this now, I'm kind of excited because I feel like the last film came out, especially during a time where we were just showing the same thing over and over again. Like, I haven't seen this movie, but from when you guys are talking about it, it seems like a little bit derivative from what we've seen in a Halloween film already, right? Would that be correct?
Right, I would say so.
And I think Mitch made a very good point, though, is that they got all the, all of the dialogue and all your story out of the way in the first one. So this is very much like that would be our Fellowship of the Rings, and we're about to get like.
You know what? I'm kind of stoked on this thing, because then maybe this is a bit like balls to the wall. Like, I'm hoping that's what this is.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. This is Halloween Unleashed.
It's literally called Kills. Yeah.
Right.
It's Halloween like. Fuck you up. That's what it is.
Okay.
I love how everyone's losing their mind over the silver shamrock masks, and it's like those were in the first one as well. That was in 2018 as well.
Yeah. But they're here again.
Yeah. But remember.
I know. Mitch, I understand that. I think that like if they didn't put that stuff in though, there would always.
I like it. Like I know, but think it looks cool, but. Seeing everyone so shocked.
There's that thing of there's also that other thing of everyone like, oh, of course they got the disc mask or whatever. It's like, well, yeah, what other movie are they gonna throw it in there that'll be as fun? Like, that doesn't bother. Yeah, that doesn't bother me at all. I like that homage, especially because the third one is such an oddball movie compared to all the others. Like, it's kind of perfect that they throw it in. I kind of hope they bring in the Halloween 4 mask at one point. Maybe some kid gets one off of Wish.com. Yeah, I think they're all ordering.
Yeah, they're all ordering, and the Wish.com version comes, and it like first you see the original like Nick Castle Michael mask, and then some kid orders the fucking deflated condom. I don't know, do condoms even flate up? Anyways,
well, you have to flate them.
They flate.
Wait,
yeah.
Is flating a thing, or is it just
no idea? I
think like the heat's driving us crazy today, boys.
Probably.
Yeah, at this point though, in the Halloween franchise, do you guys want more suspense or more action? Like, what is kind of like, what do you look for at this point?
Oh, like what do we want out of? I think
what do you want?
I think this one's gonna be most of your action, and I think in the last one, I think we'll kind of go back to a very more simplistic. Just from the way the trailer looks, it looks like basically the whole town is coming out after Michael. So totally. I feel like
that's the idea I like.
Yeah, and I think the third one could possibly be like the finishing up of that, and have more of whoever our final characters are fighting with Michael through this like nearly abandoned town almost, or I don't know. It's kind of more. Or
Michael kills so many people, so many MFs that. Motherfuckers, for anyone who's wondering what that means. On the internet, Unfriended episode, shout out. What was I saying? Oh yeah, okay, Michael's going to become like Uber Michael. He's going to be T1000 Michael, because he's just going to turn into
Michael. Where is Laurie?
My main thing, I don't want, and I know we saw a little bit of it in Halloween 2018, but I don't want to see these fucking face reveals. Like, whenever they take Michael's mask off, like, it's never good.
It's
never good.
It's like when Kane's mask came off in WWE. They built it up to be. Yeah, and it's just some dude who had like some poop smeared on him. What are you laughing at? What is so?
I just was looking up. I forgot. I forgot that David Gordon Green directed Your Highness.
Oh yeah, and I saw that one in that movie too. He did Joe too. Joe was him, wasn't it? No, wait. Prince Avalanche.
He did Joe.
Yeah, and Prince Avalanche.
Okay, can I ask, who are the new fringe comedy guys putting out all the movies, like the Your Highnesses? Who are these?
I don't think those are happening anymore, man.
Man, comedy.
We had a while where there was just all these like fringe. It was guys who were also so-and-sos who had all these weird comedy movies.
I think the comedy has become the superhero genre. Like, that's where comedies are happening now.
Just swallowed it up.
I would say like everything. Like, I don't think there's even like a straightforward comedy era anymore. I think if anything, we see comedies creeping into other things. The comedy's even in a lot of good horror films now. You know, like
we're not seeing like Dodgeball anymore.
No, I guess to answer your question is those don't exist. Unfortunately,
have you been outside, Boy? Who the fuck wants to laugh right now?
Well, there's that.
I think I don't know. That's the thing. Giggling at least.
I don't want to make it sound like I'm poo-pooing on recent comedies either, though, because there has been some really good ones, but like they're so few and far between, and they're so different. Like Booksmart, that was good. What's the other one? Date Night. I like Date Night, Game Night. Not Date Night's the Steve Carell.
Game Night.
Oh, The Big Sick. I like that one. The Big Sick.
Yeah, Big Sick was good. But that's the thing is like comedies have become like the depressing Judd Apatow. Like, Judd Apatow used to just have like 20 minutes of a movie that would be depressing. Right. Now it's like the whole movie.
Are you telling me that like everything became Funny People?
Yeah, but I love Funny People. I love that movie. Yeah, I think that's one of my favorite Apatow movies, and that's a very unpopular opinion.
That might be my favorite Apatow. Yeah. I'm not even kidding. For sure.
Of course, you could probably cut a half hour off of it, but I'm not complaining because I enjoyed it. Yeah, I like it. Okay, but do you guys want to talk about some horror movies?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what we're here for. I mean,
yeah, Kyle, let's hear it. What have you been up to? What have you watched, my dude?
Oh man, what the fuck did I watch? Yeah, okay, hold on. I watched the trailer for False Positive.
I thought you were about to say the trailer for Halloween. I'd be like, fuck off.
I got nothing to report back, guys. It's a Kyle summer. You know how it is.
It's a white boy summer free of movies for Kyle.
Boozy, what about you?
I got lots.
Let's hear it. Knock a couple off right now.
All right. So, first movie I watched is 2019's Dark Encounter. An 8-year-old, Maisie, went missing in 1982, and a memorial is held by her family a year later. That evening, strange lights and sound are observed in the woods outside, and strange things start to happen. And this is directed and written by Carl Strathy. I really like this movie. I like it a lot. It's a very kind of reminds you of that classic abduction story that we've seen plenty of times before, and I understand that people are over the 80s set piece of it, but I think this is a totally fun, very small concept for an abduction film kind of movie. I think this is the title and kind of what I told you about it gives the whole idea of it's just people in the woods and they're going to get abducted, and I think it's a lot of fun. I think this is a very cool movie. It has some very genuinely fun visuals, and I really liked it. I think this is a movie I want to go back and watch again soon. Maybe it'll rub off the second time, but I do feel like there was something unique and fun about this, which is something we'll talk about a little bit later that I can say about some other films. But so Dark Encounter 2019. That's good to hear.
I didn't think I had heard of this one, but I've seen one of the posters, but it's on Amazon. So
yes.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm gonna write that. I'm gonna add that one to my letterbox.
You want me to put another one on here?
Yeah, strap another one on.
All right, let's throw another one on here. All right, the next movie I watched is from 2017, directed by it's either Javier or Xavier. Jens. This is 2017's Cold Skin.
This has been it was on my list for a while.
I don't know if it's Javier. It must be Javier. A young man arrives at a remote island to take the post of a weather observer, only to find himself defending the watchtower from deadly creatures which live in the island shores. This movie is super cool. I'm actually surprised. I've never really heard anybody talk about it. Visually, this is it feels like a big budget film. It's very slick and clean, very stylistic. It's kind of funny. It kind of released not the exact same time, but I know that it would probably get lumped in there just because of its context with something like The Lighthouse. But it's so completely different. It takes such a completely different road, but you have a lot of interesting dynamics with characters in this. I will say it's maybe a little bit more shinier. It's got some fun moments, and it's got some really weird Shape of Water kind of moments in it as well. I would definitely recommend. I would love to hear what you guys think of this movie. It's very cool. It's almost like I could see this if you slapped in some different characters doing a little bit different stuff. This could totally be like a action movie, kind of like a prequel film or something. Like, I don't know, Aquaman defends a lighthouse, basically. Like, I don't know. There's something very big budget about this.
Yeah, it looks pretty grand. I know this one was. I'm pretty sure it was on Shudder, or it might still be. But either way, I was gonna watch it a couple years ago, and I actually heard like really mediocre reviews about it, but. You're my guy when it comes to creatures and stuff, and this is a creature movie, so I definitely want to check this out.
I definitely will say, I'm more interested in like the darker creature movies, and I will say that this one is a little more like upbeat in its own way, but very cool. Some very cool stuff happens in this.
Nice. Cold Skin. Cool. All right, I'll knock one off. The thing is, okay, so like I've lost track of the movies I've watched. I have also watched far less movies lately than I have in the entire time the Terror Table has been a thing. But over the last couple weekends, whenever I go out to Jambi's house, we watch movies. I'm going to talk about some classics quickly. So I'm not going to spend too much time on them because we've all heard people talk about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But so I've watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre with Jambi on his 4K TV.
Wow.
I'm sure not.
His who?
I'm sure. Oh, I don't even worry about
that.
I don't want to get your hopes up. You might not.
I just don't know what that is. So.
Is that coming to home video soon?
The funniest part about it is I'm bragging about a 4K TV for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This movie looks like it was filtered through sandpaper, but with like the transfer on the recent Blu-ray, like the one that I have, it's the one that Jesse has as well. It's so good. It's so good. The transfer is amazing. But yeah, this is a movie that I love it more every time I watch it. And it's truly become, like, it's always been one of my favorite horror movies, but it seems like it just keeps climbing for me. And it's just tremendous, man. Like, this movie is so relentless. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is almost unlike any other horror movie in the way that, like, especially for its era, like this came out the same year as Black Christmas. Like this was, the beginning of the slasher movement, if you will. Even though I guess
Zeppelin 4 hadn't even come out yet.
That's true. I don't know if that's true because I don't know the year on that one. Yeah,
I think it was like 75, 76.
Well, I'm pretty sure 4 was in the 60s. Either, fuck it, God. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, you heard it here first. It's a good one. It's a good movie.
This little underrated gem.
Yeah, but
Is it still
Toby
on
Hooper.
Tubi?
Probably. I think it might be, but yeah, the movie is just so good. It's so good. It's truly one of the best horror movies ever made, I think. And just because of the relentless nature and how it just, once it starts ratcheting up, like even the minute they pick up the hitchhiker, it ratchets up and up and up, and it never lets up. And then like the final 20 minutes is just like the most insane inbred hillbilly cannibal action. Kyle, have you seen the original Texas Chainsaw?
It's something that I don't think will ever be able to be replicated because it has a gritty quality that at this point, like when we think of gritty, that is gritty. Like you want to recreate that and have that feel and look, but it's just never going to be the same as how
they got. Yeah, and they got that look because they were on such a low budget.
That's the magic of it. That's the magic of it because it's not intentional, like in a lot of ways, but at the same time, it just feels so specific and so right. No, I love that. It's a masterpiece. Everyone knows that. But yeah.
It's wild. So yeah, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and then the other one because it's become like kind of a thing on the Terror Table. Oh wow, no pun intended. Okay. I want to basically stop talking about The Thing until we do another episode because we're obviously going to revisit that. That was in the first, I think, 6 episodes of the Terror Table.
Yeah, it's because we thought we weren't ever going to get to actually do it. So we're just like, let's do it now.
We're like, yeah, we don't know how long this podcast is going to last. And 5 years later, here we are talking about Unfriended 1 and 2.
Hey.
Wow.
But no, yeah, definitely want to do a Thing episode again at some point, obviously, so we can just dig into it fully. But yeah, it's one of my all-time favorite horror movies. It's just like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Jaws in the sense that never gets old. I watched it on its birthday. It came out on June 25th, 1982. Yeah, The Thing. It's awesome, you guys. It's another good one.
I'm hoping we get that remake soon. Let's get remaking things again, right? Right, guys. Let's
stop it.
Let's get a Thing.
Put that out there.
Fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
I want the Thing Dark Web.
Where's Laura Barnes when you need her?
Yeah.
Thing Dark Web.
Did we both go? Yeah, we both went an Unfriended route. But respect, we both chose a different film.
That's true.
Wow. I can't believe I referenced Laura Barnes.
Yeah, so I did.
That's a good pull, honestly.
Yeah.
Shout out, Laura.
Boozy, tell us about some more new horror movies. I don't want to bore people with movies that they've heard a billion times. Well, no, it doesn't need to be. Just as long as you're not about to talk about Alien or Jurassic Park.
This is going to be a much shorter episode than anticipated. Let's talk about an old movie, but no one's ever heard of it. So we're going to talk about it, and maybe someone will watch it. So this is 1987's Australian horror adventure film, Dark Age. Directed by Arch Nicholson, and it is about a ranger who has to stop a giant saltwater crocodile and has to.
You know where you heard about this? Lindsay Wilkins talked about it on the show. So
probably. That's how we got it down from.
Yeah, because she told us it's an Australian alligator movie.
I had heard it somewhere and wrote because I was like, an alligator film I had never seen. Yeah. So shout out Lindsay.
Yeah, she gave this to us. So how was it?
It was really good. You know what? They were not afraid in 1987 to show an alligator eat a kid. There is no fear in their game about doing that, and I really like that. Also, you'll kind of get some.
Oh shit, man! I shouldn't have smoked that shit. Now I'm in dark age.
Now I'm in 1987's dark age. I will say the animatronics are very cool, very fun. The story is what it is. It's a guy looking for a croc, and there's lots of thick accents, and they have like these two buffoon dudes who are probably the most Australian people ever, and I can't tell if they're like, if that's a stereotype. Like if I was to try and do it, would I be like stereotyping, or if that's actually like. Also, is Chaz Wazzer a swear? Chaz Wazzer?
I've never heard of that one, but this would, if we got heat for it, this wouldn't be the first time we said a slang that we didn't know what it meant.
Right. I don't think we're ever intentionally.
I'm gonna go no comment. Just keep it.
Yeah, exactly. I think Kyle's been onto something for a while here. Yeah. But problem is, Boozy, if we go no comment, there'll be no show.
Right.
Oh, right.
Sorry, but no
comment.
The reason I started laughing my ass off is because I'm scrolling through these pictures of Dark Age. This looks amazing. So there's a picture of the crocodile eating that kid that you're talking about.
Yeah, it looks no fear, savage. No shame. They don't give.
It's got its whole head and its torso and its mouth. This is like the gator looks awesome. Is it better than alligator?
No, I still think alligator maybe, and that's a tough one because I think alligator has a better setting, a more interesting. You have this
like
80s
the birthday party.
Yeah, I would definitely would say though I would love for you to check this movie out.
Yeah, I'll definitely. It's on my it's on my letterboxd.
You can probably skirt it, and you'll live another day without it.
Yeah, this doesn't really seem up my alley, but I got to be honest. I'm happy these things exist, at least for you, Boozy. I'll put it that way.
I'm trying to find things for you to watch. I do think though you should watch Cold Skin. I would love
that one. Seems kind of interesting.
Maybe we can do an episode on it.
The visuals of it are pretty sweet.
I got another one here that I'm gonna ring up. Or Mitch, you got more?
No, hit it, boy. I'm gonna look for another one.
So the next one I got. What year did this thing come out? It looks like 2019. I watched 2019's The Banana Splits movie.
Oh, yeah.
I knew I wanted to watch this, and I just kind of kept it around on my list, but I finally had some time. I checked it out. I want to say this is a really fun movie. I had a lot of fun watching this. I did check out some people's reviews just to kind of see, am I alone on this?
Got beat up. Yeah.
It did get beat up, and I can understand where I think it all the things it tried to do were kind of the things you typically want from a bigger because this movie's obviously spoofing the whole concept of a syndicated kids show, and that they're larger than life
and stuff.
Yeah, but it was this idea that it was like Barney, everybody was supposed to love these figures or whatever, and they were trying to do this thing of having big crowds and stuff, and I can kind of see they kind of, and that's once again, it's maybe I'm looking too deep into it, but it made it look a little bit smaller than it actually was, just because they didn't have that scale for it, and I think a lot of the stuff outside was not as interesting, but once the movie actually got going, it was a lot of fun, and I think they showed a lot more than I expected, which is always a ton of fun. This movie is actually super gory, and it has kind of an interesting where it goes with it. It does a lot of fun things, and you have characters that are not bland, and obviously they're not the most interesting people, but they give you enough that you can stay invested in what are these people going to do and why. And even when it doesn't work out, it's still a fun, it's giant animatronic things killing people. Yeah. They had fun with it. The one thing I will say would have helped this movie a ton just right off the bat is if they could have given each of the Banana Splits characters a little bit more personality to distinguish, they needed their Lanky Kong, they needed their Diddy Kong, because they all look different, but personality wise and what they do, that's all they needed. Is everybody kind of needed to have their special ability or something that they just would have fleshed these characters out more, which is the one thing I feel it was missing. And I think it would have been it would have been like a lot cooler movie, so you could pick up with those Banana Splits characters, because like I've never seen any of the original like IP of this.
That's
so
what's
I don't
so funny. Like this
yeah,
this whole
it's
existing.
it's a Hanna-Barbera thing. It's not supposed to be like what it is.
No
That's
joke.
really cool,
No
though.
joke. I legitimately thought when the movie was announced and everyone was freaking out, I was like, a horror bananas in pajamas movie?
Oh, that'd be fucking awesome.
Time to kill them, B1.
Shout out B1.
Yeah, but not B2. Fuck that guy.
No, like I think that I guess like I don't know if I'll honestly check this one out, but I do think it kind of coming into fruition the way it has is really interesting, because this is not a horror property in any way. It's just like a Hanna-Barbera.
This shouldn't exist. It's literally like
No, and as much flack as we give like remakes and repurposing and all kind of things like that, like taking something like this into a completely different direction is at least something fun and a little like gutsy in a way. Like
if they did like an alien version of like the Jetsons or something.
Sure. Like I don't know, like on paper it sounds fucking weird, and like on film it's weird, but like roll with that and maybe that's okay.
And it's totally like what Mitch said about like the Five Nights at Freddy's is 100% what they sold it as to get it out the door, which I totally understand. And and props to them. And I will also, like, that is such a cool thing that they're taking who would have thought a Hanna-Barbera license would randomly get turned into
you should watch Willy's Wonderland, like the Nicolas Cage one that's like the same movie.
One's getting trashed too.
I think you heard that from me about me, because I didn't like it. But
I've seen other people say that it's not good. But
I've seen some like pretty positive things about it. But you got like those are the types of things. If this should prove everything to you, Boozy, that you are the type of person that shouldn't listen to anybody. Like you're the kind of guy who will just like what you like. Going deaf. Yeah, but no, like, but the thing about Willy's Wonderland is they went the whole. I didn't know that part of information about how the whole reason Nicolas Cage was even a part of the movie is because it was through like a Twitter exchange between him and the director, and he was saying that he'll do the movie if he doesn't have any lines. So he wrote his character with no lines.
That's awesome. That's fucking awesome.
But while I'm watching it, I didn't know that. So maybe I got to go back and give it another look. Also, I just got out of a breakup, so I should probably just, give it another look. But it was annoying. It was annoying me because I'm like, what's the point of having Nicolas Cage if he's not going to be using his voice? Like his
Say something, you bastard.
But yeah, so, okay. Well, Banana Splits movie sounds like a thumbs up. I'm adding all of these to my actual list because I'm going to check these out.
I have one more. So let me just get it out of the way and then we're done. Because this one's everywhere. Like I'm seeing ads for it on my YouTube and everything. So this is 2021's The Super Deep, directed by Arseny Sayun, and it's a Russian horror film, and it's based on the real life the Kola Super Deep borehole, which I'm sure if you have any rudimentary, ever heard any spooky pastas, you know about the hole in the ground, deepest hole in the ground ever,
spooky pastas.
Yeah, but we'll take it.
We'll take pastas. But apparently they were hearing sounds at the bottom of this big drill hole because it drilled to the core of the fucking earth. Who cares? Anyway, they made a cool Russian movie out of it, and I will say that this reminds me a lot more of it. This movie definitely wanted to be The Thing, but it reminds me a lot more of the 2011 the prequel Thing movie in a weird way. It looks very similar, and it's a fun movie. I think Mitch, you'll probably like this movie, but you'll also probably be like, yeah, this is just a Thing ripoff. It's very much it's stylistically, it looks good. I will say the one big drawback of it, which I think is going to turn a lot of people away from this, is I don't know if it was like a dubbing issue or just who they got, these Russian people who knew English to speak English. Just something gets lost.
You watched it dubbed?
No, that's not what I'm saying. It's in English, but it doesn't seem right. You'll have to see
the ADR doesn't match up.
Yeah, it doesn't quite feel right. And it definitely takes away from it. And I also think that also is the thing that comes across in the writing too. The dialogue is very clunky, but it's just, this is it's more of a visual than anything else. You're getting the action and the gun shooting, and you're getting the body horror, which is what you come here for, those kind of films. So
this
I think
movie just screams Mitch and Boozy. Like,
yeah,
this is the shit. It kind of looks like Underwater. Like the poster looks like Underwater.
And I will say that Underwater is a much better film than this. That's just my own personal, and I really liked Underwater. Yeah, it's just I just think that this is it's really good. I don't think there's enough like maybe character wise anything that sort of way for a story that it sticks out. I think there are great visuals. I think it's a cool idea overall. Like, of course that's a great idea. There's spooky stuff in the earth. Go check it out. It's just I don't know. There's a lot of fun stuff to be had here, and the I guess the disease, the whatever spooky monster thing that they have, they do a great job of explaining it. I really don't want to give too much of that away, but it's a lot of fun.
Cool. Yeah. That's
on Shudder. Yeah. That just came out on Shudder.
That one is like there's no way I won't be watching it movie. Like when I saw it pop up, and it's one of those movies like, a month ago I would have watched that in a fucking heartbeat. So I'm going to get on that. I want to see it. I just realized I did watch one other thing that I have never talked about on the show before. It was brought to my attention by a friend and former guest of the show, Mitch Clark. We were talking about horror movies one day, and he was talking about the movie Chained from 2012, directed by Jennifer Chambers Lynch. This is David Lynch's daughter. Like, she directed this film.
I've never seen this, but I've heard of this movie.
Yeah, it's starring Vincent D'Onofrio, and he plays a serial killer who kidnaps a young boy after murdering his mother, then raises him to be his accomplice. After years in captivity, the boy must choose between escaping or following in his captor's bloody footprints. So this is one of those movies that's a real good time, real fun time. It's not fun. It's very depressing. It's very depraved. Very gross. This is the type of movie that I could see Boozy really enjoying. I liked it for what it was. Actually, I was surprised by how good it was and the elements that it was trying to go for. Like, it's dealing with some very uncomfortable subject matter. So it is one of those things that if you're not interested in like serial killers or true crime, like, or if that stuff kind of grosses you out, stay far away from this. Like, it is pretty bizarre. Like, Vincent D'Onofrio is a fantastic actor, and he's almost too good. Like, even Mitch was saying this to me, that he's like, it's a little suspicious that he's as good as he is at being kind of like he's sick. He's a sick man. So in his personal life, he's a very sick individual. Yeah, but he's not all there. He's tortured by obviously the urge to kill people and to do these horrible things, and it's kind of, it's a tale as old as time, the Jeffrey Dahmer and Ed and Gein, like,
it's just, boys will be boys.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I suppose that's one way to put it.
No comment.
Yeah. This looks pretty wild. This looks intense.
Yeah, it is wild. And the thing is, like, I was impressed. I thought it was going to be awful, just judging by the poster and the name. And, like, this is kind of it's that type of subject matter that can seem cheap, because it's like, of course it's going to get a reaction out of you. It's so gnarly and gross. And it involves, like, he's got a kid tied up to a bed while he's murdering people in front of him. Like, so it's very uncomfortable. But at what it does, like, she's like, Jennifer Chambers Lynch is not David Lynch. This isn't one of those things where... How many
kids does David Lynch have cooking around here making movies, by the way?
No, there's someone else that I'm thinking of who their daughter was making movies, and, like, she got so much money for her first movie. It was like a bizarre amount of money. I can't believe I'm drawing a blank on this, but it was terrible. Like, it was the only background that she actually had in film was the fact that her dad was a director at one point. But this isn't one of those situations. Jennifer Chambers Lynch, like, she clearly knows what she's doing, and she has one of the most brilliant men of all time as her father, and she clearly picked up on some of that. But don't go in expecting like a Mulholland Drive or Eraserhead or Twin Peaks. Like, it's not like that. This is just more along the lines of something like Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, or it's actually Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer meets Room, like the Brie Larson film.
Geez.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
so
interesting.
It's very depraved. It's very depraved.
I just want to say I Googled Chained here, and this one image kept coming up. So I was like, is that from the same movie? But it's from a movie called Chained for Life. I don't know if that came up when you guys were looking.
No, did not come across Chained for Life.
okay.
Let me look it up.
Yeah, just the first couple images will kind of be like, oh, it's not a horror movie.
Say it one more time. Chained what?
For Life.
Oh, the horror.
See?
Gotcha.
Right. It really threw me off.
Oh, but this is let me double check. But this fella is from
Under the Skin.
Under the Skin, yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Sick. Shout out Adam Pearson.
Yeah,
Crazy.
that came up when I was looking for Chained. So like, I'm having my own little rabbit hole on the side.
Very cool.
Yeah, last couple, I'm like not even going to really talk about them because once again, these are movies that have been seen a million times and talked about ad nauseum. But it was a very cool experience for me that I'm sure I've mentioned it multiple times on the show before that my dad is not a horror fan, even slightly. He never watches horror movies. Even when I convinced him to sit down and watch some horror movies, well, to be fair, he showed interest and was wanting to see some of the movies that inspire me or movies that get me excited, like what makes me kind of like this stuff so much to the point where I'm gonna, quit my job and move. So I wanted to show him some stuff. So I had a big stack pulled out. I was originally trying to show him The Exorcist because I know that he still to this day has never seen the whole movie because he has a story about him as like I think he was still young when it had come out and he like couldn't even get through the first like 20 minutes and that's none of the scary stuff even happens then. But ended up going with The Conjuring. So it's a movie that, talked about. Wait, I don't know if I've talked about The Conjuring 3 on the show yet. I watched The Conjuring 3.
I don't think you have. I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, maybe I'll save it for whatever. It's not as good as the first two, but it's not horrible. It's not bad. I actually don't have a lot to say.
What a review.
Wow.
Yeah, no,
all right. Understood.
It was better. We were we liked 2 so much.
Yeah, but I knew this was going to be a drop-off because it's not James Wan.
Right.
This was the director who did The Curse of La Llorona.
It's that much
it's that guy.
worse.
Well, no, it's not that much worse. It's not like I just said. It's not bad. Like the third one it isn't bad. I thought that the trailer looked very bad, and I was like, "Wow, we have reached that point quick where things are going downhill." But if you're a fan of the first 2 Conjuring movies, this will tickle your fancy. It'll do the trick. But the thing is, James Wan's presence, like his absence, is felt. Mm-hmm. Like the way that a lot of the scares are set up, like you can tell a huge difference between this director and like you look at the scares that are crafted in the original Conjuring and the second one. Like I know that the guy takes some flack because he's one of the most popular filmmakers on earth now, and he's directing Aquaman movies and shit. But James Wan is a hell of a horror director, and the best part about the third one would be still the Warrens, and even that has kind of grown stale on me at this point. I don't care for them as much. Like I like the fictional characters enough, but it just for the third movie, like it was too long. Definitely didn't need to be as long as it was, and it opens up with like a pretty embarrassing exorcism scene. I thought it was rough. But people seem to dig that scene. So, maybe I'm the one who's out of touch here. It's a very CGI exorcism scene.
Am I so out of touch? No, it's the kids who are wrong.
It's got to be the kids. It's got to be the kids. I've reached that point. Hey. But yeah, but I did show like back to the original Conjuring, which is a much, much better film. I still like The Devil Made Me Do It. It's not bad. It's just, it's clearly not the first 2. I don't know how someone could say that. What's that?
Is there a werewolf?
No, not really. The werewolf, which I thought that's what the storyline was.
Yeah, like was that not a big thing we talked about a long time ago? It's
not necessarily like it's not a werewolf movie, but they went the route too of like maybe the guy believes that he's turning into whatever, but at the same time in Annabelle Comes Home, like that third Annabelle movie, there's a full-blown werewolf in it, like running around the house. So I was like, oh, this is going to be the werewolf in the next Conjuring movie. But it's not.
Did I see that one? I don't remember.
I doubt it.
No, I did not know.
I'm gonna have to watch that now. There's a werewolf running around with a doll.
Oh, like, dude, incredible. I know I made this joke about a movie recently, but like Annabelle 3 really is Night at the Museum, but of like that room, like the Warrens' room that they have, like everything just gets out when it's actually like I gotta watch that one again.
Everything gets out and jumps around like flubber.
That sounds fun. Now we're talking.
Well, that's the thing is these are
like
mainstream
Sausage Party.
These are like mainstream horror movies for teenagers and stuff. And for what it was trying to do, I guess that one's good. I know a lot of people like that one a lot more than I did, but I think it's because I hold the second one in such high esteem with David F. Sandberg's, like, just his filmmaking really speaks to me.
It's hard to make movies like that are still scary when you have, like, you know, movies like Robert that are really
okay. But Boozy, like, pretty much, like, you're the one keeping Robert alive.
Yeah,
I really want to watch this. I've never even seen it, and I want to watch it.
You haven't even seen it, but at the same time, we have to thank you for Robert. You know what I mean? It's kind of
I've known about Robert for years.
And that was 4 of them.
Yeah, that's like the 2B Annabelle.
It really is.
But
or 2B the boy.
They snuck 4 of them out just like that.
Well, it's maybe Robert Brahms Robert 5. I don't know. But no, last thing. My dad, not a horror guy. He's his types of movies, Ford vs. Ferrari, you know, sports movies, feel good. Fuck you, Kyle. I love Ford vs. Ferrari. But
I don't know. Just hearing Ford v Ferrari is just funny to me for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah. So he likes his cars. He likes his sports movies. And the draft day comes out, he'll be there first day. But yeah, he loved The Conjuring. And I was pretty blown away by it. And he loved it for none of the reasons that I assumed he would have liked it. Like
the architecture really got to him.
The next day, my dad was apparently convincing my sister to get her kids baptized. And I was like,
Yikes.
what the? I was like, Dad, what's that going to do? Like, like, why do, he's like, well, it's like an insurance policy.
Oh,
he's like, you know, if this all ends up being real, if they're baptized, they'll be able to, you know, repent for their sins and go to heaven. I'm like, Dad, that's not how this works.
Well, listen, he's seen Conjuring 1. He knows how this shit goes now.
It's true, yeah. No, but like, he loved like the power of faith and The Conjuring, which is, you know, and as much as a person I am who, you know, despises religion in most aspects, I do like that trope in horror movies, like, you know, how good defeats evil. Like, it doesn't need to all be about the Catholic Church, which it's the power of good versus evil that is compelling. And that's how, you know, what happens in the Exorcist, like how Father Karras and Father Merrin are able to use God for good and save this little girl. Like, you know, a masterpiece like The Exorcist does it. We can't get mad when things like Conjuring do it. But it's, yeah, I don't know. Sure. It's a great movie, though. That original Conjuring is so good. Just such a good, chilling movie. But yeah, that's everything I got today, boys. Do you wanna wrap this thing up?
I'm still stuck on Chained for Life. I'm pretty excited because Jess Wexler is in this. She was in Teeth.
Yeah, that's where I was wondering where.
What a weird connection.
Yeah. So Chained for Life has not leads from Teeth and Under the Skin. So I'm pretty stoked on Chained for Life.
But all right, you guys, let's we're on Skype. We may as well continue to hang out as boys, as fellas, as friends, and maybe talk about some Unfriended movies. So we'll see you on the other side.
Take some pictures. Post it. I need another drink.
Dude, look. Laura.
Which seats are better, balcony or orchestra?
Hey, Mitch, who's your buddy?
Who is that?
I just tried to hang up on him.
Can we get rid of this person? I don't know. Is this here the whole time?
It's just probably a glitch.
Well, the glitch just typed. Who is doing this? This is Laura's account. Who would hack into a dead girl's account?
Maybe it's Laura.
All right, everyone, hands up right now. Who's doing this?
Oh my god.
Guys, seriously, who posted the video?
It wasn't me.
Well, one of us did.
Who's here?
Close the door! Lock your door! Just hide! Why are you showing this? I didn't mean it! I swear it!
Oh, you swear? Man, what's going on?
What is that? Ken, talk to us!
I'm signing off.
No, he'll kill you!
I'm God, you hear me?
Why is he counting down? This is gonna be fun.
Yeah. I was born.
And we have reached our main feature presentation where we're doing a double feature today. We are talking about Unfriended from 2014.
2014.
Yeah, and then we are also going to talk about Unfriended Dark Web from 2018. All right.
Wow.
All right, boys. Let's lead off with this first Unfriended, the Skype film tagline: "This April, or revenge comes online." And so this is a movie that, like, both of these movies are the most like Kyle Zervinsky terror table things I've ever seen.
Something called the Skype film is already we're there.
Yeah,
That's great.
and just the poster. Like, I remember when this was coming out, everybody was like, "There is no way this will be anything other than a piece of shit." And so many people went to it thinking there was going to be a piece of shit, and then ended up liking it. A lot of people still don't like the movie, but I love the poster where it's the search engine. It's like Laura Barr, and then it's like all the like search the things that come up.
Oh, that one. Yeah. I'm looking at the other one right now.
Shit's not going to age well, dude.
No. Well, we'll get into that, of course.
I think if it was real, it would be that one where it's like, how old is Laura? How tall is Laura? Is Laura alive?
I was literally just about to say
Google,
the whenwillidie.com. Like, remember that? But I was like, wait a minute.
What?
Didn't they do that? Oh, yeah, Countdown. They made that movie.
I still never saw that.
No, but did you guys not go to that website as kids? Like, where you type in your birth date and then it's like a 5-question quiz, and it'll tell you exactly. Oh man, this went around like crazy at like the school I went to. Like, everybody was doing it. And
everyone wanted to
home.
know when they were going to die.
People were bragging about outliving people. It was such a weird time to be alive. It's like, yeah, dude,
if that was real, people would do that kind of like 100%.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, this did happen though. Like that happened as a kid, and I remember one of our friends, he dies like 40 years earlier than us all, and we were roasting him.
Oh my God,
looking back, dude, I straight up haven't thought of this in 15 years.
Do you remember when yours was like, or like a year or anything?
It was like I remember it was something like 2070. Like, it was something that was so bizarre to me, being like, the world's not even going to be a thing then.
Yeah, like we're going to have no use for time at that point.
Yeah, but like it would even have the second countdown at the end. Someone, if you remember this website or something like it, or you used it,
hit us around. It doesn't sound like it's that dangerous.
It sounds kind of scary to me. I don't think I'll visit it.
I went on it back in the days when the computer was still in the living room at everybody's house, you know? Like, there wasn't an office.
That shit was sick. That's a good time.
we hadn't invented offices.
Yeah, there's no.
It's like, you know, parents can be watching a movie and I can be playing Amazon Trail.
No one had 4 walls. Yeah. Amazon Trail. All right.
What?
Oh yeah, Amazon Trail.
Did you guys get all those games you could just get in the cereal boxes and then just play those? Like, I was playing fucking Life and shit.
Scrabble, yeah, I played Life lots, and Roller Coaster Tycoon was my favorite game as a kid. Yeah. So into that game, and then it was like they put it out in cereal boxes. I remember my dad having a meltdown in the grocery store one time because he like bought me Roller Coaster Tycoon when it was like brand new, because I was like, trailers were out. I was like, yeah, it was over. And then we're walking through the grocery store and he's like, this game is literally in a fucking cereal box. But yeah, let's talk about Unfriended here though. So did I read the synopsis?
You sure did. You definitely did.
Did I?
Skype film. Or maybe
Skype film.
Was that what it was? No, I didn't. A group of online chat room friends find themselves haunted by a mysterious supernatural force using the account of their dead friend. And it's directed by Levin Gabrads. I can't pronounce his name. I'm sorry. I'm not.
What was the first name?
Levin.
Levin.
Yeah, like 11, but without the E at the front,
okay.
and not from Stranger Things.
Not that guy, no.
All right, let's talk about this. Kyle, do you want to... wait, so, Boozy, you had seen this film before, right?
Yes, this is my second time watching this.
Okay, and I think this would be my third, because I watched it again after Dark Web came out. But yeah, so Kyle, these are both first-time watches for you, and like we had mentioned before, like this is... Kyle, like his staple on the show is to live and die and be buried with his Stay Alive DVD.
I don't even own Stay Alive on DVD. I really need to get that.
Wow, you are lacking.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for the sequel. Brent Bell, let's get talking. Let's figure.
He's working on the sequel. I told you that.
Well, this was my first time. This was my first time watching Unfriended. Mm-hmm. And like you've said, Mitch,
you knew all about it though, right?
Oh,
like, what's your background on this? Like, you saw it, you weren't interested. Like,
to be honest, yeah. Like, I think when this came out, I looked just pretty hokey to me. Like, I was like, this just looked pretty bottom of the barrel. I'll be completely honest. It was kind of like my initial like That's impression of it. But that being said, though, I do also remember hearing like people talk about it once it finally came out, saying like, okay, yeah, like it's what you expect, but it's a fun time. Like, it's not going to be anything highbrow by any means, but like,
definitely better than you would expect.
Exactly.
Like, for being given a Skype movie,
sure,
from Blumhouse, and company who notoriously would put out films that just kind of disappear the weekend after they're released because no one can remember them. The Gallows, shout out. Not shout out, reverse shout out for The Gallows. Truth or Dare was next level. Couldn't even get through Fantasy Island.
I think this is definitely elite leagues above those kind of films, Mitch. Like, I went into watching this finally, like, just a couple days ago with that in mind, thinking, okay, like, this might not be anything special, but there's a pretty good chance I'm going to have a fun time with it. And also looking into it a little bit more before I saw it, it is a lot more like Degrassi than I thought it would be. And that is just right up my alley because it's really, it plays into fun tropes and it plays into fun, like, I don't know, I guess stereotypes and interesting ways that like high schoolers interact with each other in really funny ways, which I'm a sucker for that shit. And this does it with a really specific outlook, of course, which is that it's all this like a screencast on people's computers. That's the gimmick of the movie, right? And the only time I've ever seen this, which I think we should probably talk about it right off the bat, in a horror film, was Host from last year.
Yeah.
So we have an episode on Host. You guys can go listen to it. And it was kind of a buzz for a solid, I don't know, 2 weeks. It felt like a year, but it was maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, it had a little bit of buzz for a short amount of time.
That movie got a lot of attention.
I'm just saying, like, at the time, it felt like it was a lot longer, but in reality, it probably wasn't that long. That one is interesting because it's very similar to this, of course. However, the difference between like young adults and high schoolers is the big difference between the two films. And the tone of this is so much more in line with like a campy horror film, which I think is why, honestly, Unfriended really works because like you can't really take this film seriously really at all. I mean, the premise alone
as an adult, think about if you were like, I thought about this while I was watching it, that if this movie would have came out when I was like 12 or 12 or even 14, and it like this technology had existed, like I feel like weirdly enough, I obviously I'm the guy who shouldn't even be commenting on this. I don't know. We've just proven today I don't know kids. Today on Mitch Don't Know Kids.
Today on Mitch talking about kid stuff.
Yeah. No, but like these kids seem kind of normal to me. Like they seem like they would actually be friends. Granted, it's the one group that I would want nothing to do with.
No, I think that makes sense.
They had like the funny fat kid. Like I want to hang out with that guy.
He's the only one that I would have wanted to hang out with because he's in that movie Cyrus. Was that him in Cyrus?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah. I think.
Yeah. Can I just say when Mitch, you're talking about like this would have been a bigger hit not a bigger hit, but like it would have been huge for us.
Please don't bring up fear.com.
Always 100% fear.com. Like if this was our fear.com, we would have been killing it. I think this would have been great.
Much better at Fear.com.
No, they totally are. But I think like in that time frame of like Fear.com came out 2003. I think if we would have got something of that quality, which I'm just gonna hop in here and say like now that this is my second time watching this, I really like this movie. And I think there is something really cool about like this is its own little gem, you know, when you go through like the 2010s, this is like a fun little gem of its own because it and 100% it should not work down to that's probably why it took all of us so long to see it, because I know I didn't see it until within the last 2 years, is because of its concept. And you know it does genuinely look stupid, but when you actually watch it, it's a ton of fun.
Yeah. And the thing about it is the way it's presented is actually pretty impressive in a lot of ways. Like the idea behind it is like sounds really simple and maybe even lazy. In a way, it is a little lazy, I guess. But at the same time, the execution is what really matters, and it's executed pretty well. Like it has the the disadvantage going into it that like a month later the movie's going to look dated, but you have to kind of just accept that for what it is, right? Because that's how the internet works. And I mean, anyone gets that, obviously. I will say,
it might be like a time capsule thing too. It might be fun to look back on this time.
I do remember
definitely.
I remember seeing maybe it was a trailer for it, or I can't remember exactly if I had seen maybe a review for it around the time. I can't remember, but I do remember like seeing how it looked when it initially came out, and it honestly already looked dated. Like a movie from 2014 talking about chat roulette actually makes no sense.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like that's 3 years too late, to be completely honest with you. So,
but it's also the polos and the hats, like the styles.
Sure,
like, that's what I'm talking about. It's like this is like a Banana Republic, the Banana Republic St. Joe's kids. That's super Saskatchewan or Saskatoon.
But it is like such a specific.
I know, but I literally did go to St. Joe's. Like I graduated from that fucking school, and these are all St. Joe's kids, man. Like especially the douchey, Adam.
Yeah, shout out Adam.
Gosh, I can't wait to talk. Coolest death in the movie. I love Adam's death.
I think though that it works so much better watching it years removed from when it came out, though, because when it first came out, I honestly think, I guess I can't say because I never saw when it first came out, but I feel like just judging at how the internet looked and how people dressed and acted, like we've talked about, it already came out at a disadvantage. But now that it's been like borderline 10 years, I think it works better, honestly. I think like at this time you can look at it as a time capsule, and I think it like my mind is so far removed from like how like Spotify looked and Facebook looked and how people navigated websites that I generally don't remember if that was 6 months ago or 6 years ago. So now when I watch this, it looks like it could have been fresh and that they were onto something. And honestly, it's done pretty well.
Things are probably pissing you off in that too, because like you got glasses, like you're a nerd. And
I have 4 eyes.
Yeah, you like playing with computers.
I tap on the keyboard.
Yeah. Just so I don't sound like a complete fucking asshole, I grew up with glasses and exactly the similar ones that Kyle had. So like I got made fun of relentlessly.
Always patting himself on the back constantly. This guy.
Okay, yeah, but
take another victory lap here, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a little like inconsistencies that's kind of annoying, but whatever. I look past that. Like, who cares? Like, the thing about it is there's a digital ghost. Let's just get that straight. Like,
hey, that's Laura Barnes you're talking about, I think.
This also seems like that should have been the idea that they landed on for like the 5th installment. Like
that's a good point. That's a good point.
Honestly, yeah. But at the same time, they pull it off. So I'm going to share my thoughts.
I love that. That's what they go for right off the bat.
Yeah.
It's non-conventional now. Like that. This idea seems
I don't think any of it. Like it's a digital ghost. Like so. Yeah, no,
what I'm meaning is, I think this seems like such a more like early 2000s idea.
Yes. No, but like what I'm saying is like Unfriended Dark Web, which we'll get to me, kind of even seems like the logical jumping off point. Like it's like because that's who hasn't given the dark web some thought. Like I know Kyle, that's all he thinks about when he's wanting to buy underwear. But like
that's right.
But yeah, no, so I'm going to talk about this now because I wasn't planning on seeing this movie when it came out because I thought it looked really bad, really annoying, and I ended up watching it and loving it. Like I think it was one of those situations where I went in with such low expectations that it exceeded. Like it was like, how was I not on board for this? Like there's actually so many good moments in this movie, and I'm a big fan of it. Like there's of course it has its issues, it's flawed, but what slasher horror movies aren't? And like also it's just like our internet run amok, like friends being shitty people. It is Never Have I Ever the movie. Like there's like a half an hour scene of Never Have I Ever, and that's like I love that because that's the like dude. My people do that. Like my friends played Never Have I Ever. Everyone did sociables and stuff like that. That is why I was like, man, are kids still playing this? I guess it is a timeless game. Like you can really find out who has a crush on who with a good game of Never Have I Ever.
How has there not been a Never Have I Ever just horror movie, or does that exist? And
I'm sure there is.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, and we probably covered it on the show.
Yeah, it was all episode. You don't even remember.
But I don't like the cast in this movie, but I don't know if you're supposed to.
Yeah,
like I said, that the character, the bigger friend who puts.
Have we seen any of these people before, or like again?
I'm not familiar with any of these.
I was gonna say I don't think I've ever seen any of these people in anything else.
No, and I think that was almost the point with them, like getting kind of people that would be on phones. But who's that kid? That kid though, that's in Cyrus. Was that Cyrus? Am I mixing it up? No, Terry. I'm thinking of Terry.
Oh, I was thinking of Cyrus too. It is Terry. Those movies are they came around the same time.
Well, because it's Jonah Hill and John C. Reilly.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then this one's John C. Reilly and Jacob Wasaki, who plays Ken in Unfriended, which another great kill. That's the thing, man. This is it's like a PG-13 movie made for teenagers, and there's gnarly kills in it, and it's super fast paced and it's fun. I like the drama works for all of the reasons that I think that they didn't intend it to. Like it's like the drama is so funny and it's so enjoyable.
Oh yeah.
I think it makes it so much better as those kids, and it makes it believable. Like of course these kids are all like sleeping with each other
and they're making the biggest deal out of like different things. Like not to say that like, cheating on your spouse, your boyfriend, girlfriend, your partner isn't like shitty, but him like he's just doing some slut shaming after that because he's like, oh my god, I can't believe you've slept with one guy. He's like, oh my god, you disgust me. It's like god, teenage boys.
Well, they're talking about like saving it for prom, like it's Clone High or whatever. Like it's like shit like that.
That is exactly the shit that I'm talking about. It's how the movie. It's like that is like one of the most cliche things that you could ever take into a movie. And the way that they turn it into like the climax of the movie was pretty impressive because it does start off with like prom night, Mitchie. I can't believe you guys haven't done that yet.
Oh right, we didn't get
of the Mitchie, which was giving me PTSD.
Were you waiting for it?
I was.
So we were going to come in strong with it.
Yeah, well, it's because I have PTSD from it. My sisters and my mom call me Mitchie, and like they did that when I was a kid. And like so, whenever I had hockey games or basketball games, or they would be yelling, "Go Mitchie, go!" And I would get bullied to shit because it's like, "Hey Mitchie," and so it was really uncomfortable hearing that teenager scream it in the movie for an hour.
Isn't it crazy that there was a digital campaign for this movie launched on Kik Messenger? Do you guys remember Kik?
Holy shit! I haven't thought about Kik in forever.
And you could have a Kik conversation, determined conversations with Laura on Kik.
With Laura Barnes herself.
So the more I just forgot. Okay, so this movie actually came out in 2015 in the States. Like festivals came out in 2014. So get this: in 2015, there was Kik marketing mentioning of chat roulette, and honestly, even Skype. Let's be honest, in 2015, no one was fucking using Skype in 2015.
I had never used Skype in my life until the pandemic hit.
Exactly.
I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
I didn't have a Skype account.
I don't even know. I think it's so funny. I'm so happy I watched it now because I know if I even watched it a couple years ago, I think I would have disliked it a lot more. I think the fact that like the way that like even like Gen Z kids interact now is the complete opposite of this. And so that's why I think this is like such an interesting like experiment, I guess, because like some of the ways that they portray teenagers is totally absurd, but some of the ways they portray is actually kind of like on the nose and makes sense, and it's like watchable and it's enjoyable.
Yeah, I don't think it's completely out of left field.
No,
some of the stuff that they do or how they act, like these are
Exactly.
No, that's high school
like
shit.
totally, like yeah, they take it onto the web or whatever, but they're doing the same shit we all did.
I think it's just like it's a little obvious that
Well, I would like to say that none of us roofied girls.
No.
Which was like, there was some gnarly shit that was brought up
like,
in that.
we all
I know what you mean.
shit our pants. I mean, maybe we didn't have videos
Cal
of
Tire
it.
famously, but
Yeah,
like,
no. Or at least an iteration of shitting your pants. Like, I remember in high school, like, the first time I'd ever used a beer bong, I ended up beer bonging a full 12-pack. I was a 17-year-old kid. So I was like, I was fucking.
And you left a 22-year-old man.
No, that was one of, like, I honestly, and that's going to come as a shock to people who like to think that I'm some alcoholic, rightfully so. But I've only blacked out like 3 times in my life, like to the point where I got so drunk that I actually don't remember what happened. And that was the first time.
I only blacked out like 3 times that summer.
Yeah. No.
Also, speaking of with the unfriended thing, is that's I know that it's supposed to be, but it is tough watching stuff like that because you realize that the shit like that happens quite a bit. People.
Well, it's gonna get worse too.
Yeah, and
right now with the technology that kids have, like, dude, I think about that. Like, if even we like Facebook came out when I was in grade 12.
Yeah.
So like. That's wild. Yeah, I know. I'm old as fuck, eh? Kyle's like, fuck.
It is kind of scary, and it's not something that really like we had to deal with. Who the fuck could take like a flip phone pixelated pic? You could barely take a fucking picture of somebody before, but it's scary that something like that could happen, and there's a lot of like real world carryover to a lot of the things in this movie. Like, I know it is supposed to be kind of like a hokey, teen horror movie, but there are like some real lessons when you actually look at it, even at a very surface level of how you can get information. And I mean, going into 2, you see that quite a bit more, but just how quickly information can go and where it can lead to and stuff like that. I think that is very interesting in both of these films, that it kind of tackles that subject matter when I think there are certain movies that probably kind of skirt over the fact that you have a large choice in what goes on in this sort of things, as well as sometimes you don't.
Well, I think it's a good point too, because this one definitely deals specifically with like cyberbullying, right? Because
and using anonymity to your
you gotta show respect is due. This ghost has some mad meme game.
That's true. That's true.
The ghost is making memes about. How have we not talked about Adam's neck yet? Adam's neck in that meme. Do you know what I'm talking about? You guys had to for sure. He's like, well, he's doing the like skinny dude thing where he stretches every muscle in his neck. He's like, look, I'm buff, and this girl's passed out on me. Cool.
Oh, gross.
I know, it's so fucked.
But the at the time, and actually honestly even before it, it's so funny how like oddly dated this movie is. Like, cyberbullying was like a buzzword, like there was a lot of attention on cyberbullying in the news and other films covering it, and I mean it still is, but I feel like it's evolved,
shifted.
It's shifted a bit.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess I'm not an expert on that, so I can't really tell you what that is now, but previously
I'd love to get an expert on cyberbulling.
We need
on
one
the turntable as a guest.
But we would probably cyberbully them.
I'm thinking like if Jeff Thiessen was still on Facebook, he would be the guest to ask. He's a master Facebook bullier.
Because he's a master cyberbullier.
Yeah.
Well,
he brags about cyberbullying David Arquette.
Oh God.
Hey, David's like a cool dude.
I love David Arquette.
Sorry, Kyle, go on here.
I don't know. I'm just thinking, like, I guess like that's kind of like the movie's thing, right? Like, it's trying to sort of like, explain a good moral through cyberbullying.
I don't think it's heavy-handed. I think it's more like in the way. No, I feel it's the way that we're like South Park for a while there. Like they would just randomly cram in some sort of like lesson learned at the very end of the episode.
I think though the one thing that was kind of like maybe a little much was when there was a brief clip of Laura's YouTube channel and she was doing like the cue card thing, which was clearly a ripoff of like the Amanda Todd event that happened in Canada, which is a pretty serious thing. And honestly,
I didn't think about that.
But that was the thing that like tons of people were doing that. So when you see something like that, you're like, oh, okay, it wasn't.
Well, and they
just,
for
like,
sure pulled that from it too, like because that was that was international news.
It's got to be
at the time that was quite a bit like more fresh in everyone's mind.
But at the same time, no, it wasn't, because that was like 2012. This is 2015, so like it is kind of weird. But
now think about how long it takes to make a feature film. Like even if it is on Skype, this thing was probably written 3 or 4 years before it even got made.
I agree, but I think if you're gonna dedicate this kind of film, you have to keep that in mind. I honestly think that. I think you need to think about
Kyle,
that.
Why are you trying to cyberbully this movie?
I'm sorry. I like this movie. I'm just saying, like, those things I think are probably what held it back initially. Now I'm
surprised you don't think this movie's dangerous.
I definitely don't.
So okay, when you kind of figure out that it is like the Laura Barnes ghost,
right? Yeah.
Are you guys just okay with that and go with that right away? Because I kind of feel like it's a great way of just writing off anything that happens. Because you no longer go like, well, why is that there? Or why is this camera here? Or how can the computer do this and that? You're just instantly like, ghost powers, totally get it.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. I think that's
ghost
why it
powers.
Works. Don't think about it too much. It doesn't have to make sense. Because, like, honestly, the way
that's what I love about it.
The way it's presented.
Yeah, exactly.
It's perfectly on par with what it's doing. Like, it just works for what it's. This movie isn't trying to be some complex, like, film. Like, this is no Ari Aster Midsummer, obviously. Like, this is. It's just a pulpy.
But I don't think it has to be, and I think that's kind of what I like of it. Like, this movie's like a sweet ride front to back. I think like the faster they got out of the way, the fact that it was like a ghost or whatever was like it just from there. It was just like, okay, that's what it is, and we can just go with it. That was like
that's a good point.
There's a lot of I would love to watch this again. It's fun.
Not only that, but like it kind of makes you think that it's not a ghost. Nearly at the beginning, like
that's
so.
What I was gonna say. Like,
but the thing is, it loosens you up. It's so wild and it's so wacky and crazy that by the time it reveals that it truly is, it's a ghost that they're dealing with. It's like it feels like it's part of the movie. Like it just feels right. Like to me, it doesn't pull me out in any way because I was already kind of like I giggle a lot in this movie. I'm not making fun of it. I'm not laughing at it. Really, well, yes, I am.
There's some
funny things, man. Sure. Yeah, like just the lines and the way that the teens.
Jonies.
Yeah. Oh no, what was the one? If you're gonna kill me, you better kill me right fucking now. Like,
oh my god.
Oh yeah. Why is there always one aggro dude in the group? Just for no reason.
How savage is that? Looks like she finally shut the fuck up post. Like that's like there's so many things. Like after she shoots herself, like, oh my god, it's
I feel like someone in here was working some shit out about being bullied and just what they wish would happen to the people that bullied them. Mm-hmm. I don't know. There's a certain level of just like eat shit. I think like none of these people are good.
Not bad ending though. But that's a studio thing. Like the very final moments.
Fine with it. I was just like, let it happen.
I agree because what you mentioned earlier, Mitch, how like it actually felt believable, like how the events were maybe mysterious and how they actually happened. I was totally like kind of thinking in my head for the first like 20, 30 minutes.
It was going to be someone else. Like
exactly. I thought it was the boyfriend or I don't know, whatever.
Yeah.
But as Boozy already mentioned, like once like it pretty quick into the film, it just mentioned the ghost stuff. You're like, fuck it, okay, I'm on board. For a brief like minute or two, I was kind of like, oh damn, I wish there was a bit more happening here. But by the time the ending came, it
ramps up and it's pretty savage. But what I'm talking about, I'm not saying like I'm talking about the last 4 seconds of the movie. Like I'm not talking about the climax. I'm talking about when the person like runs up and grabs the camera. It's just like, hey, like that could have, but it also it fits. It's obviously the stinger, the stinger at the end.
I also
the lead. No, I
also thought it was pretty cool that they managed to. I don't know if you guys got out of this, but I felt like they did such a good job of maybe it was the music or just how they presented it. But every time you saw that little blip of the Laura's like picture, you know, it's the generic, like, I don't know, they did such a good job of making that feel like tense, because there's that whole thing about how like they got it out of there and they're like, oh, okay, because that happens in the second one too, where it's like, oh, okay, we got rid of this intrusive thing, and then you hear like the doo-doo, like that sound, which is very cool that they, you know, like, it always helps a movie when you can have your own like sound where when you hear that, you can think of that like instantly, like as soon as we're talking about that, I'm sure you guys can hear the same sound, but that just having that profile come back,
the sound design is pretty inventive and cool.
That in itself is cool, that you're making just the fact that a random nothing account has come back to be like a tense moment, because you have to, I think that's timing. And I think that's probably the biggest thing you can say about that is like I was saying, because it's so limited in terms of this is a whole movie based around, you know, a screen. To be able to add like tense moments like that is probably why this movie works a lot, is because it actually does. It serves you up things. Well, you know, like it tries to keep things, you know, engaged and fresh.
Yeah, well, all those sounds are things that are like ingrained in our memory, whether we want
you walked away, Boozy, and something popped up on the Skype, and me and Kyle both looked at each other. We're like, "Fuck,
well, Laura."
Yeah, we actually like we were laughing about, because it's just like, we both thought of like, did you just think of Unfriended? It's like,
well, and it's good on the filmmakers, because I mean that's
really inventive. Well, in some ways,
it's I don't want to be dick, but it's an easy thing that's accessible, because like. You're like, hey, well, this thing's all gonna be on Skype. Let's grab all the Skype sounds and just use them because it makes sense. It's perfect, you know. Like it's
but
like
at the same time, like you have to be like know what you're doing, because anyone can do stuff like that and do just a shitty job of it.
Well, I guess so. Yeah, you're right. There's definitely worse ways to do it for sure, and I think it does a good job of it.
Like I would say that this movie actually works for us. Like,
I think the second film does that a bit better, though. I would say that's one thing we'll get into.
You guys want to talk about the second one?
It might be time, but no, I agree with you, Boozy. It works. It absolutely does. And I think, you know, there's little things like that will always be effective. Like even like Searching, the movie Searching.
I like this movie more than Searching.
And so do I. And not even just in terms of like suspense. A
movie, as a movie, it's a better movie too. Well, in my opinion, like, and that's, I know a lot of people disagree, but for me, it's the fun factor of it. And but I'm definitely a fan of this movie. I think it's much better than I was expecting it to be, both when it came out, and it's been fun to rewatch.
I think for anyone who like at this point would still like,
they're both on Netflix in Canada.
Yeah, it's just being like a Skype movie. Like this is really surprising. It's just a lot of fun.
But see, now I'm worried about, because I thought that the reason I might have liked it so much is because I went in with like crazy low expectations. But I think we did a good job on that one. Let's move on to Dark Web.
Yo, hey buddy, how you doing? It is game night. Ow! Are you ready for this? I got a new laptop. Actually new. There's a cyber cafe that I've been working at, and this computer was sitting in the lost and found for the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Hang on, you stole someone's computer?
I didn't steal it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's messed up. And I found this folder, it was hidden, and it automatically connects you to this thing.
Dude, this is dark web.
What's dark web? Part of the internet where no one can track you.
It's all about drugs, illegal IDs, even assassination for hire. Yeah, the dark net is mostly about the bad guys.
And this computer's got videos on it, right? Check this out.
I really think you should stop.
Oh, God.
That looked way too real.
I think that is real.
Guys, that's what they're trading.
Trade what?
All those videos.
We have to do something, and we have to do it now.
Who's that?
What's happening?
Wait, guys, hold up. Where's Lex?
Wait, that's Lex's building. No, you guys. No. Is that Lex?
He killed Lex.
Who?
The ones who buy the videos, the ones who pick the girls.
What the hell? They've all been watching.
Oh my god.
That's my mom.
No!
If they found Lex, can't they find the rest of us too?
They've had control this whole time.
Please, leave us alone! Get out of there right now!
I can hear you. Are you still
Kelly,
there?
I can't
just
see you.
So this is the second installment. I believe it came out 4 years afterwards. Written and directed by, had it pulled up here. Blew my load a little early. Sorry, guys. Oh, yeah, this one's Steven Sisko. Yeah, Steven Sisko, who was also the writer on the Grudge remake. And he did The Possession, the story for Texas. Yeah, I'm not even going to bring that up. story by Hellfest. He did Hellfest. And
he's been attached to a few things.
Yeah, Red. But anyways, yeah, he wrote and directed this one. And the synopsis of it is a teen comes into possession of a new laptop and soon discovers that the previous owner is not only watching him, but will also do anything to get it back. So this one goes in the direction of the title of the film, The Dark Web. How much do you guys know about the Dark Web?
Honestly, not that much.
Me neither. So I feel like they could have gotten away with a lot.
I don't know. Like, do you just Google dark web and it'll take you like?
No, it's actually I did read up on that too. Is that they obviously aren't going to do the actual thing.
No, right.
But they're not super far off. And the guy like Steven Sisko clearly, and I remember listening to him on a podcast when this movie was coming out and he's promoting it. And he put a lot, like every single thing that happens in this movie is based off of like a real thing that has happened on the dark web.
Wow, interesting.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and also
so it's based on true stories.
Yeah, but of sorts. Like that's the thing. The kid getting annihilated by a SWAT team that couldn't have actually happened. That I guess maybe it could have.
Oh yeah,
actually no, that stuff happens.
People, yeah.
Yeah,
but like, I guess that would happen, but maybe not in the way that the virus will take over and then.
Okay, well, no.
There has been like swattings where shit's gone south.
Exactly.
Yeah. So let's get into it, guys. What did you think of this one?
Okay, so I enjoyed it, but I did not enjoy it as much as the first. I like the first more than this one. I think the overall
different too.
They're very different. I think the first thing I'll start with my positives. I think to begin with, I think this is actually a more like successfully made movie. Like the structure of this movie is a lot like it's well thought out, and the puzzle pieces to kind of like connect what it wants to say and what it wants to kind of like do and present on screen works really well. And you could tell that Steven Sisko, like you've already mentioned, Mitch, like he clearly did his homework and had a vision and a plan for this. Within like the series, I guess, of the Unfriended universe, and it was executed like pretty well. I think there was a certain way he wanted to tell the story, and he went about it in a pretty effective way. I think for me, honestly, the big thing here is just kind of like, I think I dislike the characters a lot, and I dislike like the dialogue just really holds me back, because in the first one, like it works because it is just so campy and cheesy, and it works with like how the film is presenting itself. With this, I just can't connect with any of these characters. And like, even when I would get kind of like sucked into what was happening, then like AJ would say something just so cringe that like, it wasn't even funny.
AJ,
it was just
quit being
like,
so cringe.
It was just kind of like, I don't know.
Oh man, like I wasn't taking
off for me a little bit. And
yeah, I totally get that.
Some of it is just kind of like really like edgelord shit, to be honest with you. Like the whole crypto thing and like
Maddie Fast Wheels.
I'm just kind of like
hotmail.com.
This felt more of like an actual this felt more like parody bait than the original Unfriended for me in a lot of ways. And I
say parody bait.
Yeah, absolutely.
That blows me away to think
like
that.
Like some of this stuff is really Yeah, just cringe, unfortunately.
I take a lot of it. Like I think it surprised me both times I watch it how much it sucks me into how brutal what's happening is, and how what I really admired this time is that I didn't even realize that the first time I watched it. No one dies in the first hour of the movie.
Right.
Everything just it's like exactly at the 30-minute mark. The last 30 minutes is bananas. Like it's fucking just bonkers. And that's so going into this, I don't know a lot about the dark web. I just went into this, thinking the same thing as the first one. Hopefully it's good. And in reality, they're like pretty much on par, I would say, as like just like films in general. Then it'll come down to what you personally enjoy more. And I like the cynical nature of this one. I like how dark it is, and I like how
I don't like that. That's
and you see, that's where we're different. Like you didn't like cheap thrills as much as I do, and that movie is very similar.
I wanted to like that, but no,
but it's cynical. But yeah, I thought it was just really clever in a lot of ways. But with that being said, I don't know a lot about computers. I don't know a lot like technology.
I don't know if you need to though. Like,
no,
I think it makes it better for me. I think movies like this will work better on people who are less computer illiterate than I am.
That's actually I'd agree with people. That.
So that's why I wasn't pulled out ever when there would be like little sometimes I was like, is that a real app? Like, can you actually do that? And then of course memories galore came back of the sound clip days of using the Arnold Schwarzenegger prank call soundboard.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right,
oh my God, man, and that's why it had to have been one of my friends because we all did it. But my mom received a call one night when I was a child, and someone did this to my mom, and it actually pissed me off so badly that I was crying. I was like 12 years old when it happened, but someone used the phone booth voice thing on my mom, like saying that they had a laser pointed at her chest, and like this was 2002. That happened. And then she explained, and then I went to the computer. I was like, did it sound like this? And I played the phone booth clips, and she's like, oh yeah, that's exactly it. But like, she thought it was real. She called the police and everything. And I'm like, that's savage. Whereas when me and my friends, we'd call people on Kijiji, in the newspaper, the Star Phoenix, we'd find people selling shit, and we'd be like, it's not a tumor, or who is your daddy, and what does he do?
Come on, Kyle. This was prime stuff to do. Don't act like you're better than this.
Did you do that shit, Boozer?
Yeah, hell yeah, I did. Like the Arnold soundboard was a classic around our parts.
Same with do you smell what the Rock is cooking? I'm pretty sure there was a Rock soundboard.
Yeah. And
there was a lot of wrestlers.
That was what we had to do. Prank calls were still fun to do. Or we would do the ones where, did you guys have the one where you could type stuff in and then you could get it to
Texas
call?
Heat.
Yeah, and then it would actually call them for you, but you could listen to it.
Oh, I never did that. I would just cruise down 8th Street with a megaphone yelling, it's time to party. That's pretty much all I do.
Right.
Yeah, see, the millennials.
Yeah. Different.
Yeah.
What did you guys think? This is a weird grab.
I don't even know what Boosie's thought of the movie yet.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody's even asked me.
It's because you're still kind of blurry right now. But
yeah, we're not sure.
How am I still blurry?
It's okay. It's been like that the whole time.
Is it blurry, actually?
It actually is, but it's better. It's better than it was before. No, okay. Yeah, but either way, you're puddle of mud, so we're Gucci, baby.
Right,
Let's go.
Don't make me start singing. I just want to say that I probably liked this movie the least out of the way you guys are talking. Like, I really did not like this movie. I understand that it's definitely well made, and I like the ambition of it. It was just the characters were so blunt, and I really didn't have that much fun getting to know them or really caring what happened to them. It was it kind of going through the motions of like, okay, what are you going to do next on this guy's computer? Like, it's one of those things where obviously that's what a movie wants to get you to do, is you're like, everything tells you to do no, but your character always does yes to keep it progressing. But it literally just felt like, why stop it? Stop fucking with other people's stuff. Maybe that's just like an old person thing in me. But it just, And also,
Get off my lawn.
Yeah, and I guess like I kind of knew that this wasn't connected to the first one, which is kind of a shame because they set up some really fun, interesting things that probably Laura Barnes could have fucked around with in the Laura Barnes verse. Like I loved the whole what would it be text to speech thing that he had set up with his girlfriend who's deaf. That whole thing there. There's that whole thing is primed for something spooky to happen.
Oh man, that's the only part of the movie I don't like.
And you know what the crazy part is, they never really have like a good payoff for it. Because the only way that it would work is if she was deaf, and how she ends up in that warehouse at the end. That wouldn't have happened if she wasn't deaf. Like that is the payoff. Right. I don't know. I think it's kind of boring sometimes watching stuff like that where there's so many moving parts. Like I liked how in the first one they were all sitting there, so it was kind of you were actively involved in all what these people are doing. Where in this one it's like you have to take my word for it. I'm in a car right now and it's really busy out, and I have your girlfriend, I think. You know, like stuff like that. And I'm a thriller guy though too. I know, and
there's a lot of cliche things.
Dude
in it.
sitting there being like, and you know what? Maybe that is like if you're more interested in that. But it's just I don't know, hearing about all that, and then you're just watching this guy who's like knows nothing about computers, but all of a sudden his buddy's like hacking a thing, which I thought was another cool thing, is like that like a Laura Barnes thing could have worked for it. And I'm not trying to say all those things should have been adapted that way, but like how they hacked that thing to kick him out of their server thing, like their one buddy kind of knew how to do that, and they had to like keep him on the line for a certain, like I thought like that kind of hackerish stuff, like
kept him under the railway, like because they're using the train. And she would lose. She knew that she would lose service if she went on the train, so he directed her to go on the train.
The stuff like that, like it's interesting, and it's stuff that keeps you going. Like, oh, that's cool that it's happening, but at the same time, I don't know. It was kind of like whatever. And you're right. Like maybe it is because it takes so long for anyone to have anything really happen to them, where it feels like your stakes are so low for so long.
Oh, I felt it was so intense from like honestly the get-go. And that's why I think it's weird, but that's totally understandable. Like all your guys' gripes are totally. I just did not see that coming. Like I'm stoked that you guys like the first one so much, but yeah, like they're in reality, like these movies are very much on par for me, and I like them both. And what I do like about them not going
completely different, like they're not.
That's what I like about it. And that's what you know what they did, the Laura Barnes thing. And as much as you wanted more of that, I like them trying. I like knowing that the next Unfriended isn't going to be about the dark web or ghosts.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Mitch. I think that is actually a huge plus for this movie. I don't necessarily needed like Laura Barnes Part 2, but I think what did work with that is that there was kind of like this central theme that connected everyone. Yeah, not that I loved every character from the first movie, but the fact that they were all.
You feel bad for these characters, like especially like well, I don't know. I guess I personally felt bad for like his friends because it all happened because of him. Like he brought them all into it.
Right.
But then it's like we don't really know what this guy is like. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Should we even care about him?
He stole a computer.
So that is I like the fact that they have to kind of be like puppets for somebody else, like the whole thing of them having to like play cards against humanity while trying not to.
That happened too late in the game, I think.
I thought that was but like it was a very cool. I thought that was a very not cool, but like that was a fun scene, and I thought it was done really well. Too, yeah. And it's stuff like that where like I totally get that, like Unfriended 1, there's no way you could have a scene like that just because of how your threat is versus this one, which I thought was really cool. Right. And like Mitch is right, like I didn't need like another Laura Barnes, but I think it would have been easier to write off a bunch of stuff if you once again just had like spooky Skype ghosts. You know, it you can write off so much that way. It's like I
guess the setup in this movie is kind of confusing. I mean, like not that it has to be like a mastermind piece of writing, but I think it's just confusing on where it wants to necessarily go, because it's like, okay, like is it going in a place where it's like he's paying for what he's done? He's done something bad. He stole this laptop. Is he paying for it? And he's paying a huge price for something small, and it's just kind of like a misery on screen. I think it's a little bit of that, but then it ends up not really going that direction. There's nothing really like, there's no connective tissue for like why everything is connected and why maybe I should care about everything happening. There's some moments that are really engaging and keep me like wrapped up in what's happening. But I think overall, I just needed a little bit more oomph on like why I should care for someone like
He's not likable enough to carry it, I guess.
Exactly.
You're supposed to care about. I can't remember his girlfriend's name. I know you're supposed to care about her, but there is a little bit of like, she is like, when you're introduced to them, she's freaking out at him in sign language. So 99% of your audience has no idea what she's saying. So like it's hard to build up a character that way where you're gonna want to care about her, right? Like I didn't give a shit if she got on the train or not. Like,
sure, it could be more difficult. I just think it was the movie. Maybe, I guess what we already said.
Isn't this the plot of Euro Trip?
It's somewhat similar to Euro Trip. They could have just given her a little bit more, like. They on purpose decided to have her not a part of the call, which honestly I think was maybe the first problem in the first place. Like I think we needed to like have the rest of the cast care about her. There is one line where it's like, oh, is so and so gonna join?
Yeah, they feel so disconnected. It feels like he's on like a third date with her, and they don't know she exists.
Exactly.
Like she doesn't feel part of the, and that's what I mean is like you don't get to connect with her enough. Like at least have like a fucking, I don't know, a picture of her on one of your sign-ins or something, or like a picture of you guys from a group trip from a year ago. Just 2 seconds that lets us know you guys have met each other more than once.
And I think I'm in
he
the.
seems like a clinger the whole time. Like all I got out of that is he's a weird clingy dude.
I'm in the rare minority, I think, of I think in the way that you guys almost feel like defending Unfriended. Like I took Dark Web quite seriously. Like it actually, like a lot of things worked for me. Like most of it worked for me. I actually liked the main character. I didn't like him, but I was okay with watching him because I thought he was good at generating tension. Like I thought that he was a good, like, frenetic and erratic person. And the timing.
I will give him that.
I didn't think he was a bad actor. Yeah, I didn't think he was a bad actor.
Yeah.
No, and for the most part, I think the acting is much better, for sure, better in this one than the first one. Absolutely,
it's better.
But the thing is, it's because they're a couple years older. You expect more from them. I think it was what it is too.
That's fair.
But I just my like overall thoughts to close up here is like for myself. Like I love how the last half hour is just balls to the wall. Speaking of which, Charon's fucking little server room, his little gaming station at the very end, a total missed opportunity not having a Balls energy drink there. Like you needed to have, because that place looked like, what was that LVR? No, LVR Games was the arcade. What was the Campus Cafe?
Campus Cove.
Yeah, Campus Cove. Yeah, where everyone would go and play Battlefield on computers and pay for it and buy 15 Balls energy drinks. I think that the school shooter, or not the school shooter, the shooter plot is what?
Sorry.
Well, that's a whole plot. It's a whole arc in the movie. Like when he fucks with the one character's computer and he has a YouTube channel and like a podcast or whatever, and like when he pieces all of the words together and like says like that call was made 10 minutes ago. I think that scene is really, really well done, and I really like it. And I guess
in theory, it's a cool idea.
I thought it was executed really well too. Like, just even though it is cheesy, like it's corny, but we're talking about a sequel to a movie that had an internet ghost.
If I'm being honest, I don't think
I'm not taking it that seriously.
I don't think it's that corny. I think
when
it actually,
the gun cocks and he turns the volume up. Oh man, I was like, fuck! Like even yesterday, I was like,
it's super smart.
It's nuts.
It's silly, but it's not like I wouldn't call it goofy. If anything, it's a little over the top, and that's fine. I think that stuff probably works the most in this movie. I think maybe I just wanted a bit more of that because since I couldn't connect with the characters, I was looking for something to kind of keep my attention, grasped within what the story was talking about. I don't know. I guess all in all, like the idea of like the dark web and like this secret organization or whatever, like I think that is a decent idea. And I think that was probably presented as well as it could have as far as my knowledge of that shit. And I think it worked pretty good in this movie. And I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to the way how I couldn't really imagine how else it would have went. I think from the get-go, I was like, hey, this isn't supernatural. There is some realism here. But even the realism was a little bit weird with like these glitchy shadows. So like
that's if I had one issue with the movie.
We didn't even talk about that.
If I had one issue with the movie, it would be that like he's got the phone thing that make him look like he's the singer of All That Remains or something.
That was the one part I didn't understand and thought was really corny, because like I thought the idea.
I just can't think, like, how am I supposed to even know what I want to get into? Because do I want to get supernatural, or do I want to like try to piece this together? And it's not that the movie has like a weird tone, like it's totally consistent for the most part, but at the same time, with the first one, I liked how we were like, hey, we're ghosts and we're moving on and it's going to be ghosty.
Yeah. Ghosts can do whatever they want.
This one was like, hey, we're going to keep
serial killer anger was cool.
Well, it's like, well, let's keep it a little bit ambiguous. Let's be a little bit more like, let's have an interesting plot line. But if there's no love for like who's on screen, if I don't care if anyone dies, then like
I care way more about these people than the first movie. Way more.
I don't know. The first movie, it was like I almost wanted
these people
to die, and that was interesting to watch.
Yeah, that is true. Right. Yeah, when you're actively cheering for them to die, which I guess I still did that in this one, but yeah, for the reasons that it's a movie that it's destined to fall into a lot of trappings that are found in movies like this, especially with the format that it's being presented in.
I think that part of it is fine. I think the way it's presented is good, and I actually think like
it starts off how every single movie should. Oh my god! With a Mac update.
Thank you. I'm so happy you brought this up. Did anyone else think of the Jason? What is it? Is it Jason? Joseph Gordon-Levitt vehicle Don John.
Oh, I love that movie.
Where my body, my pad, my ride, my family, my church, my boys, my girls, and my porn.
Yeah.
And my dark web.
Yes, it is. Oh wow, yeah, very similar. About that. So I guess I like the really cynical nature of this movie, and it might just be because the mood. I don't know. I shouldn't justify it. I like the movie.
Can I ask you guys what would be your dark web power? Because I do like the one that like
dark web power.
Well, okay, he had dark web power of like you could erase messages whenever you wanted.
Oh yeah.
And then there was dark web power of like you become a hologram as soon as you enter, like you become a Porygon or whatever Pokemon.
Yeah. No,
See, like stuff like that, it was easier for me to be when it was a ghost to just be like, oh, okay, ghost stuff, because like it was like
all of them had internet coming from a potato in the first one.
I just love I love to think about that this dude who like had set this up, like had his phone and was doing the shit while driving places or like going places.
He was following the girl.
Yeah. Like, dude, I can barely like text somebody without a spelling error, and this dude's literally like ending people's lives by editing audio.
I looked at it. Obviously, it's a little more far fetched, but as like even a Mr. Brooks thing or like a serial killer type story, because it kind of leans you in that direction because you're thinking that you're finding like just a bunch of videos of this person's murders. And then I like the angle. I think the real emotional hook of the movie, what you're supposed to care about, which doesn't work because we never see her until the end, is the person who they save. I just forgot about that entirely. It's true. But dude, I don't know. I like how they spun everything around on these kids, and then I love how the guy who's in the music studio gets hung. Like, I think that's a pretty gnarly death, just because it's like it's kind of savage. Like, it's
No, I agree. I think the fact that it came to like it being a whole ruse on them, and they were doomed from the beginning. Yeah, that's a good hook, but. Like what was her name? What was the girl's name? I can't remember now. But the
Emma,
like you said,
Emma something.
Yeah, like when that finally happens, I was like, oh, do we care about this? Is this actually like an emotive beat?
She had a hole drilled in her head,
and that was over the top because the rest of the movie didn't really have that. And then when that came, I was like, yo, this is I don't know.
Well, see, I kind of I smiled at it, like just because I was like, and I don't think that's the goal either. Like, I don't know if they were waiting.
Do you want to smile right there?
Well, I was smiling in the way where I'm like, fuck, like this is rank. Like they go because knowing that all this stuff has happened and does happen, like that's just a lobotomy. But like when they pour hot water,
just a lobotomy, just a regular.
No, but like these are all real things that happen, and that's why sometimes horror movies take it too far when they dabble with realism. But the thing about this movie, what I think makes it work, is because it's so surreal. Like, yes, this stuff has happened, and even like the snuff videos that you see near the beginning, and like when they find those canisters and those women, and they're like, those things have all happened in like they happen, and it's something you don't want to think about a lot.
It's a good concept, and like it's an interesting like subject matter to tackle. I don't think the movie does a bad job of it. Like I said from the get go, I actually think this movie's well put together, and like the research that the team actually did clearly pays off in this film. I just think they kind of forgot about the characters and like in the process of doing that, unfortunately.
And I will just say, to throw in one like little thing about, especially about like talking about Unfriended 1, is my girlfriend was studying while I was watching both these movies back to back. She stopped what she was doing to watch Unfriended with me because she was like that interested in it. And then when Unfriended 2, and it's like when Unfriended 2 came on, she's like, "Oh, there's no spooky ghost." And I was like, "No, none whatsoever." And she quit watching. But I just want to say, like, as a testament to the fact that she had no interest in watching Unfriended, but it literally sucked her in with like all the stuff that was happening. I think that's a testament to like overall like a good movie. If someone who had no interest in even being like watching this stopped what they were doing to watch a movie, like that's like a great compliment you can give any movie.
It's almost like Unfriended 1 is kind of like the Eminem show, and then Unfriended 2 is kind of like Recovery. You know what I mean?
No, it's Encore.
No, it's Recovery.
Recovery is the sellout one.
Exactly.
This is a million times more savage than the first one.
No, I'd say it's totally Recovery, if we're being honest with ourselves here.
Okay.
Well, it's almost like Eminem scale here.
I like both movies, so unfortunately I can't beat up your movie. I like both.
We don't have to beat up each other's movies.
It's almost like Unfriended. Unfriended 1 is like Bring It On 3, Fight to the Finish, and Unfriended 2 is actually like Bring It On 2, Bring It On Again. So, you know.
It's more Bring It On, but...
It's more Bring It On, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know where we're... Let's close up shop here, boys. Either way, yeah, this didn't... Well, I guess it is disappointing knowing that you guys didn't really care for the second one as much, but...
I would still recommend it. I would say, to be honest, here's one thing I'll take away from all of this. I actually want more Unfriended, to be completely honest.
I was going to say, do you think there's going to be an Unfriended 3? And
Absolutely.
Where could it go?
Because I know...
What would they unfriend next?
Oh, yeah.
Could be it.
Maybe they'll go
cancel
back.
next.
Oh, they should go back in time and do like Neopets or RuneScape.
That would be kind of sick. Like a retrospective of 2000s.
Or how about like even just like a Club Penguin? You don't have to go that far back in time.
Okay. Habbo Hotel, sure.
Yeah,
or we have
Habbo Hotel serial killer.
Be real, Boozy. Were you the person who invented that meme about the Limp Bizkit LimeWire file? Was that did you?
You know, I wish I had created all the LimeWire memes just to express that, like, hey guys, it's okay if you got catfished into 3 different Soulja Boy songs that are all the same song. Like, it happens. Sometimes you want Into Club, and it's, you know, you just hear you like right off the, you know, like
you. I
guys get the
I laughed my ass off at that meme.
Did you guys ever get the Bill Clinton one?
Oh, yeah. I didn't.
Yeah.
All the
like,
time.
Why? Who is encoding these being like, yo, someone's going to try and download this song and they're going to get this and they're going to laugh.
It's brilliant. It's honestly brilliant.
Yeah. It's funnier every time you hear it.
I do hope we get more Unfriended. I would say if you enjoy the first one, which I honestly think most folks will, I would still watch the second. I think it's worth watching. And
I've told people to watch Dark Web who hadn't seen the original. Like, honestly, the person who I had watched both these movies, like the Dark Web with, hadn't seen the original and really enjoyed it.
Also, the first Unfriended movie, there's a penis in there, so there's that.
Yeah, in the chat roulette. See, Kyle, you might have watched there's a censored version.
I watched it on Netflix. I don't know which version it was. Oh, that reminds me though. There is apparently 2 endings to Dark Web.
Oh, I think there's more than that too.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure there's
more.
like 5.
And, we didn't even mention that. We're like a couple of fucking Nimrods.
I still haven't seen them, and that's why, like, this was one that, like, I remember Diego and I really liked this movie when it came out. So, like, we were both talking about wanting to get the Blu-ray to get because they had all 5 endings on it.
Wow. Okay. Well, they did the thing like Clue, where there was 2 versions given to every theater, so it was going to be different wherever you went to. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Either way, I want more Unfriended. I want more of this shit.
I do too.
Give it to me, baby.
Okay.
I just want more Laura Barnes spookies.
Are we going to go see The Forever Purge?
No, I'm not.
I didn't even know that it existed.
No,
and it comes out tomorrow.
No, they're not getting what they're.
It's apparently the final one.
Oh my god, the poster for this is psychotic.
And I'm not trying to shit on because we've talked about this before, but like I feel like The Purge turned into Saw, where it was just like, oh, they're putting out another one, huh? Like it just keeps happening.
Has even less good ones.
Yeah, exactly. But like, do you remember where like it just like Saw movies just kept coming, but nobody else nobody paid attention.
So many people love these Purge movies, and that's why I'm like people like them. That's cool. The second one I think was the only one that really did anything. Oh, I liked the last one too. I forgot about that.
I don't know.
That being said, the only reason I saw it is because it was made by Blumhouse, and I was told that there was going to be a Halloween poster in the movie, and there was.
I don't know. I think The Purge is always like it's a good like blog post idea, but never a good movie idea.
I can't believe that they got that much gas or like steam out of that one idea. Like
I mean, good for them, I guess.
I know Tara, my sister just watched the original for the first time, and she fucking loved it. And she said it wrecked her because she's like, she said that a lot of it she's like, it's because of my parents. Like it has to be. But I was like, it's also because you don't know cinema.
Oh God!
No, I think the first one is just this cool idea of like a little like home invasion movie, but after that, it turned into like Avenged Sevenfold Monster Energy drink, and all of a sudden, like everybody.
Election year was the worst. I've seen them all yet.
Yeah, all of a sudden, like Mad Max shit instantly. They went from like this tiny home invasion to Mad Max. Like
they turned into commercials with blood. Like they look like cell phone commercials in Ibiza. Pick up in Ibiza.
Yeah, I got this.
Have you guys heard the old Dirty Bastard song that's in fucking like Tide commercials now?
No. Which one?
Oh fuck! I'll have to find it for you. But like, it's weird hearing rap music where you're expecting like all the other lyrics, and it's just like about cleaning household items.
Right.
Yeah,
that's
funny. Kind of energy I'm looking for in 2021, though. If I'm being honest.
That's fair. I'm with you on that.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, let's wrap up shop here, boys. Thank you, everyone, for listening. It sounds like these are some divisive movies, but everyone is leaving here with something. We all enjoyed. We're all
happy.
I'm feeling pretty happy. Shout out Unfriended. I will plug a couple things before we end today. By now, by the time this episode comes out, I should still have the first ever dynamic video imaging film grant up at dynamicvideoimaging.com. That's my production company. I don't talk about it too much on the show here, but myself and Gavin, we've put out an $1,000 grant fund for mentorship and cash to an emerging BIPOC filmmaker based in Saskatchewan. So if that applies to you, or if you know someone who might be interested, please apply. The submission deadline is July 31st. Hopefully this episode comes out before that. But even if it doesn't, whatever. And the last thing I'll mention is I was recently on my buddy Zach Tennant's podcast called Formatted to Fit Your Screen. Not a horror podcast, just a kind of typical movie podcast. Very casual and fun, and a really good conversation. And me and Zach talked about one of my favorite movies, Wes Anderson's Rushmore. So that was a fun chat. I would check that out. That should be out as well.
Why is that? I couldn't find it. Like only the first 3 episodes are up on Spotify.
It's a brand new show. He just started it. Yeah.
But okay, so your episode's not out yet, though.
It should be coming out July 2nd.
Okay, that's what I was meaning.
Do you mention horror at all? Like, is there 2 seconds where you're like, yeah?
Do you mention that you have a podcast called The Terror Table?
I do. Yeah. I do mention.
Are we your secret shame?
I do.
Yeah, that's what I was more so interested to find out if he was even going to mention us.
I talked about it, guys. You know, I
maybe he's going to try and infiltrate this one and leave us in the dust.
I went straight forward and I said, you know what, Sorority Row really got me into horror, and it's stuck with me ever since.
That's the
you're still chapped about that, hey?
I think if I watch it again, I'd like it more. I think.
I forget about that movie every time.
There was a bubble bath scene, or like a bubble.
Okay,
I thought that was balanced.
Stop.
Oh right, yeah.
Watch it. Maybe I won't. Yeah.
No. All right. Well, thank you guys. Also, yeah, Kyle, that shit is really dope what you're doing with DVI, and congratulations to you guys. And that's just wicked that you guys are doing something with your platform and your experience with the industry and the various filmmaking that you guys have done together. It's really cool to see you guys doing something so fresh and, helpful to the art scene here, to creatives, because there's nothing here. You know better than anyone that it's very difficult to get stuff made here.
Yeah, I just want someone to like make something that they are happy with. I want someone to make something that's special to them. That's about it.
Yeah, and maybe have a little bit of a resource to pull from that they didn't have before, and that's what you guys are providing. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So check out Dynamic Video Imaging Corporation on Instagram and Facebook. I don't know if do you guys have Twitter?
We do have Twitter. It's DVI Corp on Twitter.
Cool.
A little barren,
Shout
but
out DVI Corp.
it's there.
Sounds very professional.
I supposed to sound like a VHS scam was kind of what I envisioned, but what can you do?
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, we will see you guys next time on the Terror Table.